Oh my God, this is a packed house. I can't believe it. So excited. I guess I just got to drop the T for you guys all to finally show up. So grateful you're here. Let's have some fun. Great cause. Be with you in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are live here on Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and today is a special, special night. I'm so grateful. My God, you guys packed the house tonight because I left that clickbait title. You guys are here for the drama. All right. You know what? I don't really want to do the drama. Everyone thinks I want to do the drama. I actually am nervous. I hate instigating, stirring the pot. I don't really. I know that's surprising, and I want to talk about this. There's a little bit of like a nerve, and it relates to a moment that happened a couple years ago that I want to talk about. But the reason I'm doing this tonight is because I want to do some good. I want to do some good. We all need to do some good. April is just not a good word for me in my new life. It's not been a good word for me. But April's an important month because it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I realized, man, the universe is telling me something. I got to twist this word into something positive. We actually got to do some good tonight. We're going to raise some funds for a really amazing place today. The Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. I spoke to them. Amazing place here locally. I was going to do something bigger, but I thought, no, I'm a Tampa Bay guy now. I gotta embrace it. I got my heart and soul in the Tampa Bay. So let's help the people who are doing some amazing good for sexual assault survivors, for suicide prevention, for anybody in crisis who needs need. Tampa Bay Crisis Center is doing amazing work for free. You can go get counseling. You can do so many things there. And as I learn more and more about it, I realize this is going to be a partnership of mine that I hope to do for a long time coming. So that's why we're spilling tea tonight. I'm not doing this for any other reason. I didn't really want to do this, but I posted a video yesterday with some guests, and I have her here. Let's actually get to our guests. I got Maggie's back. What's up, Maggie?
Hey, I'm wearing makeup for the first time in 3 weeks. How are my fellow quarantiners?
Woo! It's like, oh, we're like out doing something. It feels like we're out doing a show.
I'm hanging out with my guys. Hey, everybody.
I got Damien, my good buddy Damien, one of my besties out here in Tampa. Thank you for joining the stream tonight because we're gonna probably get some real stuff happening today. But I hope we'll have some fun too. I don't want this to be like a downer stream. But let's get to the real point at hand because I want to just make sure you understand tonight. A large portion, look, there's like taxes and stuff I got to figure out. I'm going to try and give as much of as I can. But a large portion of the donations that you give on tonight's stream are going to go directly there. And if you want to give directly to the organization, you can do that. I have a little ticker, thecrisiscenter.com down below. You can go help. But that's what's important to me today. If we're going to do this, let's do this right. So hold on. I realized I didn't share this hold on. Let me make sure I have the proper, there we go. So you guys can see this. Bam. And now, there it is. So Crisis Center, Tampa Bay, guys, all you got to do if you're this actually happened because my girlfriend Jami, who I don't really talk about or bring on here because I like to have a private life, but Damien's met her.
Yes.
I'm so grateful and in love with this person who changed my life and met me and decided to stand by me at my lowest point and really help me see how to be a better person and learn forgiveness and work it. So you'll meet her at some point. We'll meet her at some point. But I just we were talking, and as we were talking, she was just like, man, like think about all the abused people right now who are stuck in lockdown, and like the kids, like the women, and the men, and it stuck with me. And I was like, I hadn't thought of that. I just hadn't even considered it. And I was just like, yikes, that's just awful to think about because this happens all the time. But like right now, you can't go out. And so that's going to make you feel even more claustrophobic, more stuck. And it stuck with me. And I realized Maggie reminded me that April, and I was like, oh God, I never even used the word April, but I thought today I'm going to use the word April a lot because April is an important month. Let's twist it, guys. I want to do some good. A lot of people haven't really done anything like this. Well, let's do it because everyone thinks I'm this monster. No, I want to do good tonight. Let's raise as much money as we can for this amazing organization here in Tampa Bay. Damien, do you know them by chance? Do you know about the Crisis Center here?
Yeah, actually, I've worked with them and I've worked with the Spring of Tampa Bay. Both centers are there for, people that have been abused. And the Crisis Center has homes for where women, when they have to leave an abusive relationship, they have to escape to. And then they offer counseling for them and the kids and sometimes schooling as well. So it's an in-depth process. I mean, people make fun of this and that's why and Maggie pointed out in the stream on the Twitch stream, yeah, man, when people put out those false claims, it's taking it's taking people away, their attention away from the people that are really going through it. So this is a very, very great cause, man. I'm so happy to be a part of this stream.
And thank you so much for bringing that up, Damien. I think one of the most important things we need to remember is that the biggest fear for victims of sexual assault, of mental and physical abuse is retaliation from the outside world, retaliation from their abusive family member or romantic partner. And so when you have these movements that insist on saying things like believe all women, it actually makes it more difficult for people who have gone through something truly traumatic to believe that someone will listen to their case. And I'm shaking a little bit right now because here in my hometown, St. Louis, Missouri, let's go Blues, Stanley Cup champions 2019. We have the Compass Health Network, which I've been a part of. And I have been in an abusive relationship before, and had to, at one point, just run out of the house. And I was walking the streets, not knowing where to go because there was nowhere to go. And having what I now know was a panic attack. And in that experience, in that very, very alone time, when I didn't know who to call, I called 911 because I couldn't breathe. And they led me to the proper authorities. But the first person who showed up on the scene was a police officer who was actually a veteran from Afghanistan. And he like sat with me in the ambulance and he said, listen, it's okay to need help. I was overseas. I was at war. I had to turn to my chaplain and say, I'm fucked up. I need help. And right now, what we're trying to do is to reach out to victims, people who have been the victims of abuse, people who have been the victims of false allegations, people who have had their lives destroyed by sexual assault, and the family members, even the people who've been accused justly. They still have families, they still have mothers and fathers and children who have to deal with the knowledge that their loved one has hurt someone in that way. There's still a lot of hurting and there's still a lot of healing that needs to be done. And we need to stop treating people who have made mistakes in their lives as unforgivable monsters. We all deserve help. We all deserve the right to say, I fucked up. And if you're not in the Tampa Bay area, if you cannot reach out to Crisis Center, you can find a local area like I have and discover the wonder of therapy and treatment. There's a hope for all of you. So,
Hey.
Well said.
Very nice.
Very nice. Well said. And I wanted to. It's really important to me. This is obviously really important to me. I'm so glad we get to do this together, and I'm so glad to Maggie coming into our lives, doing that, and just sort of triggering all this and helping me sort of have support, because I just feel like I haven't had any, and not to. But at the same time, it's just like I'm so grateful to sort of be able to have this confidence to help realize, let's do good. Let's embrace everything and do the right thing. And speaking of the right thing, Crazy Uzo, thank you so much. $30 for the cause. Woo 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 woo. Really appreciate it. And I got one more donation. Before then, I got to call out because I want you guys, there's a lot of options to give down in the comments down below. But someone, there's a lot of, hold on. So here we go. Chris Thomas sent in a big donation, prepaying for tonight's show. Reminds me when I pre-bought Batman Forever at the local video store when I was a kid. The worst VHS out. Whatever you can do, Andy, to help. Love everyone. Thank you, Chris. That means a lot. Thank you so much. And I think there was another one too. Sorry, you guys are sending them in. A Cash App came through. I think it was Chris Walker. Thank you so much, Chris Walker. You guys are
awesome.
already coming in hot. I really, really appreciate it. Yes, thank you. This is from Chris. Thank you for bringing me into the Popcorn Planet family, and I'm sure I speak for most of myself when I say thank you for helping us forget the craziness in the world and have some fun. Now donate part of this, all of this, Chris. But you deserve it too. I know every little bit helps, Chris. That means a lot to me. Thank you, Chris, because tonight's it's an important cause. So let's get to it. So here's how I realized. Let me go to my 2-shot. Here we go.
Yeah, we opened up with the real talk, guys.
Yeah.
So if you want to open up a beer, that'll help you out.
We can. Look, it's a serious topic. We're gonna talk about it, and if anybody wants to open up and share or come message me, and I can invite certain people on. I'm trying to keep it a little bit more contained, and then we'll open up to all of you. But the way it's gonna work is, I want you guys to donate, ask any question you want. I will answer it and name names. That's how this is going to work. I don't want to just come here and see everyone's, Andy, you're so petty. Let's move on. No, I do feel like there's some closure I need here. There's some stuff I want to talk about, and I'm prepared to talk about. But I want you're here watching. You all want to watch and spill the tea. You got to give it for a good cause. Otherwise, what's the point of this?
And hey, we're burning bridges. So if you have any movie fights questions that you know would never be brought up on the real show, Now's the time, my friends. Let's do
So that's how this is going to work. We're going to talk about some things, but if you, now is the time because I see a lot of you are tuning in tonight because they're all like, I think there's probably there's a lot of people in there. There's a lot of people in here who are clearly worried. I think, guys. There's a lot of people in here I think are worried about what is he going to say? What is he going to say?
The only thing Andy knows is who really was responsible for the assassination of JFK. That's it, guys. It's not a big deal. Like, calm down.
Well, secret's going to be revealed today.
there's one bit of a name I will drop. Okay, there's one name I will drop to sort of set the ball rolling, and then if you guys want more, if you guys want me to open up and talk about anything, you're like, you know what, I always want to know what happened with this or what happened with that. You can do that. But man, I just want 282 people tuning in the stream. Woo! Good job, guys, tuning in. But come on, let's show some support. It's not for me tonight. It's for the Crisis Center Tampa Bay, who's doing amazing work in a time of Bud Light right now. There's a lot of crisis happening. We got to make sure people are, or give to your own. If you want to tell me, hey, I just gave to my own local crisis center, bravo. You can also give to rain.org, national organization that helps a lot of women in need. And you can we should say, if you are a child, anybody, man, woman, if you're currently in a crisis with a abusive relationship, suicidal thoughts, you can dial 211. I learned that's all you need to do on your phone. 211 will get you anywhere. They'll connect you to a crisis center and you're for free. All of this is for free. If you're in an abusive relationship, they will help relocate you for free. All of this is just what they do. Rape kits. They do so much for you that don't feel like it's like, what do I even do? You just got to remember 3 numbers, 211, dial on your phone when you can. They will walk you through the rest. So just know you're not alone. Please reach out if you're into trouble. Very, very important message of what the point is today. And down in that scroll is sort of all the ways you can give tonight to make sure you help. All right, so we got a question here. Waiting for it to pop up on here.
Ooh.
Waiting for it to come up. Now, all right, see, thank you. It's a little, my thing here is a little slow, but you're dope for doing this, Tony. Thank you, Tony. You're dope for being here. You're always here. I appreciate your support as one of our major Planeteers, popcorn Planeteers. It's time to close this chapter. That's what we're doing tonight. Let's put it all to bed. Let's get it all out. Let's air it all and get whatever you guys wanted to know, so we can use this video to point to and say he answered that here. Bunny ears. All right. Well, I can't wait for it to pop up. It's showing up here, but not. James Slendor, thank you for the $20 donation. I appreciate this, James.
Yay!
Can we refer to Dan as Dan dating a fan, Merle?
Oh, dang.
And
Well,
it rhymes.
They went there. They went there right away. Look. Damien, they went right for the jugular right at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's what I'll say. Look, here's what I'll say about this. I mean, that's public knowledge that he's dating a fan. So I'm not speaking out of turn if someone wants to say he's dating a fan. I do think, yes. Look, I think we said it really well yesterday, Maggie. I think in a healthy relationship, and I've talked about this with multiple therapists. This isn't just me trying to be, do this. And I'm not even speaking to Dan.
Therapy is dope. Don't knock therapy.
Not even speaking on Dan's case. It's not my place.
Therapy's
it's not my
great.
place to speak about the relationship. I know they are in love. They are so happy together. I'm so happy for them. So let me preface that. So I'm even going to remove this question because it's not just about Dan. But here's the thing I just know. In healthy relationships, it's hard to be a normal, healthy relationship when one of the persons in that relationship is a fan of you and looks up to you in that way. It's just a weird dynamic, and it's not always the right, healthiest way. If that person then gets access, it doesn't matter if you put a ring on it. You're still giving that person access. So I think that is a potential thing he doesn't understand, and doesn't want to listen to, or doesn't want to admit. I'm sure he has his own disagreements on that, and that's for you to talk about with him. I don't want to sit here and judge. I will say that relationship is more complicated than you guys know. And it pains my heart to the level of that sort of complicatedness. But you got to understand, like, I'm here I'll name names when it's some stuff, but I don't want him talking about my relationship with my wife, and I don't want to talk about his relationship with his girlfriend. That's just, there's a little bit of a line there that I'm worried about. Go ahead, Maggie, you want to say something?
Devil's advocate, I will say your ex-wife has already been drawn into this repeatedly and unwillingly. So for someone to make a judgment about your personal life and then make an argument of, well, someone's made an allegation, so now your personal life is public. Then why isn't it equal when the shoe's on the other foot? Why aren't we saying, well, you have now supported someone who made provably false allegations, which if she went to a court of law is a legal offense, making a false claim, a false accusation. You could go to jail for that. So you now have publicly denounced someone who was your business partner and friend. When you have your own stuff behind the scenes that you, Andy, are aware of and have not brought to the forefront. So I'm not saying that it should be brought to the forefront necessarily, because that's to the discretion of the person who's directly involved. But I'm saying, as a fan, as someone who has met all these people and gotten a sense of their true characters, I think that Dan has a very large ego. And when his ego is hurt, he thinks that it's okay to go for the jugular, as you put it, to go for someone on a personal level. And when you were forced out, it made Dan.
I know it hurt Dan. I can't imagine. It hurt them all. Let's be honest. Like I know they were all shocked and they were all hurt. And I want to be clear. Like I don't. It's awkward for me because I don't really want to speak about people's personal relationships. I don't think Dan dating fans is a problem if it's healthy. Look, exactly. Like, it's not my business to really say. All I know is, yes, she was a fan. And the reason it's relevant is because he's criticizing me for flirting with fans and dating fans. And so, I guess, and we'll disagree. I'm sure we will agree to disagree on the fact that it doesn't matter if you put a ring on it. Access is access. And it doesn't matter how much in love you are. It doesn't matter like, oh, but this is real. I was in a couple relationships I thought were real. Like, it doesn't matter because there's a power imbalance at the beginning of that relationship where someone looks up to you in a way.
And that power imbalance is going to stay within that relationship. If a student is dating a professor, it doesn't matter, oh, well, now I graduated, they're not my professor anymore, so now it's okay. No, the foundation of your relationship started with them as the teacher. That was the foundation of your relationship. It's the same reason why people say it's great to start a relationship from a foundation of friendship, because if you start off a relationship based on common interests, based on being friendly with one another, then that's a great foundation of trust and intimacy. But if you're starting a relationship on the foundation of someone idolizing you, then that's never really going to be on an equal footing.
Well, again, I don't know. I can't say. Sure, that's your take. Everyone has their own take. I'm sure people would say, and they would say they're in a healthy relationship. They love each other. They're happy. Good for them. Good for them. Not here to try and discourage that. But again, the reason this is relevant is because she has become part of that channel. She's in the background a lot, but then she's on the Schmoes show and she's interviewed by Christian, and she has put herself out there in the public sphere. So by doing that, I don't know. This is up to you. You make your own decisions. It is, but it's complicated. Is the bottom line. It makes it more complicated because, yes, you could say my behavior was worse because I was doing with a dozen fans, and how dare I? But I don't know. It's like hooking up with a fan's hooking up with a fan. Doesn't matter if you did it a month later, 2 months later, a year later. You're hooking up with a fan. I know she was a fan of him. She was absolutely looked up to him and was a fan of him. I can verify that. She was on Twitter fanning out about all of us before they met. So, look, so I don't really want to air this dirty laundry. Like that's the problem. I would have much rather done this privately, but we're not gonna. So
but
the problem is
it
was brought up a question, and it was brought up and the reality is, like, my whole name and character is put into question because that relationship is sort of the power relationship over there in that building.
Right.
And if you're against them, whether they mean it or not, who's going to want to go against the king for the little dude in Florida, right?
Speaking of
people, whether people want to speak to me or not, it just, I'm just like, whether they want to speak to me or not, it's just like, I don't want to piss them off, right? There's a little bit of that thing. And it's like, there's a thing there. So, all I know is I'm not the only one who thinks that. Like, I've talked to this, like, it's just like, of all the people there, I do find it hypocritical that, you can't come at someone for dating a fan if you ended up dating a fan and finding love with a fan.
And that's a fair criticism. You're not saying anything necessarily against Dan's character. You're saying this is a hypocritical idea to hold when you're judging me for something that you yourself are doing. That's a fair criticism. And more importantly, the question that you need to answer, Andy, in the comments, King Waspinator, hey King, said if hypothetically some sort of apocalyptic event occurred allowing someone to pit the Screen Junkies against each other a la Mad Max Thunderdome in a fight to the death in a giant rusty dome, which one wins? Now this is pure physicality, Andy, so you got to take into account just pure physical.
I mean, like when I was there, all of them. Did he pay for this question? No, no, it's fine. It's a funny question.
It's an important question.
Reckoning of
it's
all,
an important one.
All Finder apocalypses. Oh no, I thought it wasn't it. I can't find his question. Who would have won? Like when my crew, Spencer. He probably just would have like figured out a way to leave and not even get involved, and then we would have all murdered each other.
Oh, okay. So he'd
been like, "F this. I'm gonna go over there and make sure I have nothing to do with this. F it all."
Respectful disagree. Nick Mundy Rage
Oh
Monster.
no,
he would turn into the Hulk. And
no. But I guess we might end up getting that topic at some point. But no. But hold on, let me get through the people page. So James, there you go. I mean, it's a complicated topic for me, and I'm trying to be respectful in a way, just because I don't want to get into personal relationships. The only reason I'm spilling a little bit because she's a public figure now. I mean, she is, and they've made their relationship public, and he's come at me hard for being in a relationship. Now, you could say, Andy, what are you talking about? You were a scumbag who was trying to hook up with fans. Okay, you can feel that way, but that was never the intent behind it all. And let me be clear, I've apologized for that numerous times. I feel embarrassed and ashamed of that behavior. I can't ever move on from it in some of these people's eyes. But my point is, like,
don't laugh at me, Damien.
It's relevant, is all I'm trying to say. Damien, do you any final thoughts on that before I move on? Help me out of this.
Well, basically, there's people are going to ask questions, and we could speculate about how healthy or not healthy a relationship is. At the end of the day, anyone, and this happens especially if you work on any kind of a set or any kind of a job that has a hierarchy. The sad thing is that most relationships start at the workplace. It's like a huge statistic that most relationships and most marriages start at the workplace. So there's a fine line between the power struggles and how things happen. Dating laterally is very difficult to do, but at the end of the day, it's their relationship and it is what it is. I mean, we can't speculate about how it is right now. But if anyone were to sit there and throw dirt and say that something is wrong, it's like you got to kind of the glass house throwing rocks situation. Before you go and point fingers and tell someone, yo, you're wrong for doing that. It's like, check your past and check your stuff, because unfortunately right now, especially as a public figure, everybody
knows.
Yeah, go back in their history and it's out there. So people need to watch what they say.
Well said. Yeah. There we go. I think we covered that for now, and that's where I'll stand that. But I want to get there. A couple other. Let's get to people who are donating. Thank you for donating the cause. I'm going to break. Hopefully this will still be on when I'm off. Thank you for doing this to help people who need the extra support. Myra, thank you. Yes, we got to help the people in crisis right now. I mean, I always feel like I'm sure everyone can relate. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm going to do this, but I realize I'm going to figure it out. But there are a lot of people who can't right now, so we got to look out for them as well.
It's crazy. I mean, I have met your significant other, and Maggie, I saw yours putting the bunny ears, so obviously he's a cool dude.
And Damien's is a cool chick as well.
Yeah, so we're fortunate. So I mean, we're in a fortunate situation that I don't mind hanging out with mines, but there are people that are like terrified by it, and that's a weird thing to get by. But when you've met someone who's gone through it, it's real. So.
Absolutely. Let's get through some of these. Wancho, thank you, man. Let's make it happen. Captain, I know what it's like to get shat on by people. I've got your back, so does the rest of the Ravens flock. Thank you, man. I appreciate your support on tonight. We're going to give a lot of money, and I think we're going to get a lot of support, so this should be a lot of fun.
That is so Raven.
Peyton Frank, I watched Maggie live a couple years ago. Movie fights, this feels full circle. Anyone else?
Aw.
See?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think Maggie's probably the first official Screen Junkie to come back over here. Mm-hmm. You win.
Yes.
Good for
and
you.
One of the few ladies to ever be on the show.
Although we did have the original movie Honest trailer voice. So
Oh, that's right. Gannon did show up. Gannon,
Gannon.
I got to give Gannon props.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you for reminding me. And I still talk to Gannon. Gannon's a good dude.
So first Screen Junkie, but you're the first movie fight.
Yes,
so.
first movie fight. From Stuart. Thank you for the support, Stuart. Was Screen Junkies paid for Nick's wedding officiated by The Rock? Was that legit, or was that a paid promo type thing? Were there any other times you all sold out over there? We didn't sell out. In fact, I'll dig the dirt on any of these things. This is a more fun dirt to give than trying to call someone out.
Yeah.
But we weren't paid. In fact, I think that was Universal. No, Warner Brothers. That was Warner Brothers because it was San Andreas. I was in talk with The Rock's team for a while. We had started with that when he showed up for the Michael Bay one, Pain and Gain, and Mad Dogged The Rock the whole time while Mark Wahlberg's there like, why are you ignoring me, bro? It was so funny, and we edited that piece. It was so hard to edit that one, but it was so funny. And then it was just a blip on the radar. We thought we'd never hear from him again. And then like 6 months later, The Rock tweeted it. And we like sent it love. Like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen him or ever done. And when we saw that, we're like, well, shit, let's get back in touch with The Rock. And then, cause we knew.
Yeah.
And so then we followed up and we did the junkets and they invited us to Hercules. And I had the idea, like, well, I think it might've been my idea. Maybe it was somebody else's, but let's call his old high school bully and have The Rock like yell at the whole high school bully and his old ex-girlfriend. So The Rock could like be like, hey, I'm friends with The Rock. And then it escalated. And we knew, I was like, I got to get them married because I knew they were like engaged or wanted to get engaged. And I had planted the seed with The Rock's guy, Hiram. And he was like, yes. And we thought we were going to do it for Furious 7, but then he's like, no, let's wait he wanted San Andreas to get the love. So he's like, let's just wait for that one because that was his big movie. And then we got in a junket. So when you go to a junket, they don't pay you at the junket. You get the footage. They pay you with, here's 10 minutes of Rock footage that you get to own. And then we get to monetize on the video and we can sell sponsors on it and stuff if we want. But no, the studios don't pay you to go to the junket. They'll pay you to like fly. They'll fly you out. They'll put you up sometimes. But in most of those instances, it's in LA. You're like, all right, be at the Four Seasons for an hour over there. And we had like 7 minutes with The Rock. And so we spent a lot on that. I don't remember if Warner Brothers did end up helping us foot some of the bill because it was a pretty big budget to like get the crew there and everything, set up one of those, convention hall rooms. But we set it all up. It was amazing crew, Dan, so many people involved in pulling that off. It was so much fun. We set up the room, we did it. And then, The Rock was ready. I was hiding with Nick the whole time. So I was texting with them and then made that happen. And then The Rock stayed as long as I think he stayed a few extra, took photos. Total gentleman. He's exactly what you think he would be. I have no beef on The Rock. When he shows up at the room with you, he gives you the eye contact. He gives you your moment. He knows, and then he has a team to like pull him out pretty quickly, so that way he's not doing it. So his team knows how to like be the bodyguards for him to like make sure he's not like gotta go, and he's always like tries to remember who you are, give you a moment, shake your hand, look you in the eye. That's why he's a celebrity. That's why he's so successful. I just don't know how he doesn't get exhausted by it all because the dude working out at 3 a.m.
Disney Prince, that's why
he's on it all the time. David March, check your PayPal. Oh, sweet, thank you, David March. I know there's so much coming in. Thank you for alerts. You got money. Whoa, David March, $100 for the cause. Cash App is not in Canada. Now spill the beans on Nick Mundy.
Fair. That's fair.
All right, you want me to spill the beans?
Let's spill some beans.
Here's the beloved Nick Mundy. Now imagine.
All the people.
I don't have it because I delete. I think I got rid of it. I don't have the text, but imagine after a couple days after all that went down, lowest of the low. Everyone, I'm a scumbag. I've betrayed my wife. Everything. Dude texts me like 4 times. You are an awful person. You are a terrible person. I hate you. Like literally just salt in the wounds. Dude, guys, that's cold. Like to have that much hate in your heart that like he couldn't tell I was going through enough that he wanted to like personally stick that little knife in there while I'm like bawling, considering suicide to just kick me because I canceled Monday Night Raw. Dude is a absolute egotistical scumbag. Sorry. And he'll say the same thing about me. He is dead to me. I have no interest in ever working with the man again, just like he has no interest in me. He will say I'm a bully and I'm abusive, and I yelled at him. Joe Starr was on the phone call where Nick Mundy yelled at me because I canceled Monday Night Raw. And I'm like, let's do it monthly because they wanted to cancel Monday Night Raw, not me. I was like, well, let's just do it. No one was watching Monday Night Raw. And I was trying my best. You'd think like getting him married to The Rock would have like gotten me like a little bit of a hall pass, but no, didn't matter. Once I did that, I was just, it was over. So look, he's exactly who you see on Twitter, the bully. That's what it is. But then at times he's really sweet when you're nice to him. Like he's it's sort of, I don't know, oddly bipolar in a way. If you're with him, he'll love you, hug teddy bear, seem like the nicest guy. But then he has a switch that just goes crazy. And I think he would probably say the same about me. So I guess there's emotions probably get in the way of this. But David March for $100, I'll do it. But yeah, I haven't shared that story before look. Some people will say, good for you, Nick, way to kick him down. So you're either in that camp or you're in the like, wow, that's dark.
I was in the good for you, Andy, for sharing, because there's gonna be people, no matter what the evidence is, there's still gonna be people who are just not gonna believe it, and that's frustrating. So for those of us who do know what the evidence is and do know what the truth is, we do need to hear, how did these people react? These people who we looked up to, these people who are public figures, these people who we trusted their opinions on entertainment, on these movie fights that we did take so seriously and love. And the person who helped them start all that to get where they are, they turn on so quickly. And it is important to call these people out and say, what proof did you have? Or where were you when your friend needed you? Or were you really speaking out because you were defending women and victims? Or were you speaking out because it lifted you up higher? You took out someone higher on the ladder, so it made you go up one rung. So
yeah, look, I don't want to give him any more energy. So it's like, I hate to even fuel and have any response. I don't want to ever engage with the man again. I'm totally good with that. So I don't want that negative energy, I'm sure. And I likewise, I'm sure it goes both ways. We had the highest of highs, and then it really was just the lowest of lows. And there's like 3 people, and you wouldn't know a couple others, but there's like 3 people on that list. I'm just like, wow, you guys are just heartless. And now you can say, well, no, but they believed everything in the moment. But no, that just showed the character. Like you can kick a man while they're down, or you can really try to push him off the ledge so he kills himself. And that to me is what really what he did. And he doesn't. I don't think he realizes it, because it was worth it. Because believe women. Good for you, man. I hope you feel good about it. Anyway, let's move on, because I don't want to give him more energy.
Would you say that some of that stuff is part of the toxic circle that you were surrounded by when you were over there in LA? That kind of attitude, that kind of, I can't trust you. I don't know if you're going to be good or bad towards me.
He genuinely thought I was a bully. And I look, I'm sure I was at times. I was an executive with power, and I was a lot of pressure. And you got to deliver, and it's hard. I wish I could have done things 1,000,000 times differently. I absolutely wish I could have done things, been more respectful and patient at times, but it's hard sometimes, because sometimes you're at the pace and the expectancy, and then my boss is coming at me and yelling at me. Sometimes you can't. I wasn't the best boss I could have been, which makes me sad, but creatively I was pretty strong, and that's what sort of kept me going. I knew how to find good talent, and I worked with them and trust people and try and grow them. When I found someone, I gave them, attempted to let them lead. So, it is what it is. But look, that's why I don't like to talk about him. I don't want to encourage. I'm nervous, because I said I don't want to deal with him coming at me. I just don't want to.
But here's the thing.
I don't want to deal with him.
You're right. No, that completely makes sense. But it's very ironic that you're saying he'll call me a bully, but you're literally saying I'm afraid of speaking out about this person who made me feel legitimately suicidal. Because they said, you're not just you did an evil thing, but you're a bad person.
Maggie, let me tell you how this really went down. Do you want the real scoop as I open up?
I think everyone does.
There was one point. I mean, there were so many. So there were real moments. If I didn't have my son and my family, I don't know how anyone could have gone through what it was. It doesn't matter what a person does. I don't think the masses understand how heavy they punch. And then they went off and watched The Last Jedi, and were like, oh, let's talk about this movie. And you could say I deserved it, sure. We can make the argument, but I don't know how pushed you.
We can't make that argument. No one deserves to feel like they don't.
But that's
deserve
where I'm
life.
at too. It's no human being deserves to be kicked down that much. And when you're turned back by everyone because you're afraid of your status, guys, it hurts. And you're wondering why I'm not over it and why I'm talking about it, because you guys talked about it for months. You guys talked, and you're all, some of you are watching me right now. You talked about me for months. John Campia, others who keep coming at me. You wrote a blog about me, John Campia. Why? Why was that your place? And then when I call you out, you have the gall to say you didn't? You're a hypocrite, dude. I don't care if your fans hate me. You can turn your fans however you want. I will never forget what you wrote to me. And you know what you wrote to me. And it was shady and it was sketchy and you were trying to save face. And then you deleted it. I caught you deleting it. Like, come on. That's why I was upset with him. I don't care about him. He's doing successful. Good for him. I respect him. I'd love to I would love for why can't we be in more of a place like, you know what, Andy, I'm sorry that offended you. Look, I don't like a lot what you did, but I respect you too. Can we move on? That's what you do as people. And it's like, I would have done all this privately, but no one's ever going to do it. So bridges burned. I don't care. Let's build something new. Let's be real. Like that, the one thing that's so amazing about all of this, I'm free. And it's like, it's taken me this long to get to a point where it's like, I don't care anymore now, but I was going to say, let me open up because Maggie, you're right. Like I was nervous before this, cause I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to open up these cans. I don't want to open up some of these cans. And there was one time where this happened, and that was the first tweet I made when I came back and made that tweet about my settlement statement. Like I broke down in tears. I was like, I was shaking, couldn't push like the tweet button because I was still so like broken and messed up. And I still wasn't even like ready to be back. And it was just like, I'm entering this world. And I was like, why am I entering this world? And it's like, I don't know what else to do. That's what I love to do. Why am I letting them keep me out? It was the hardest thing I had done. And it was emotionally so brutal. And I did it. And I pushed it. And I'm so glad I pushed the button because it's led me to so much more, to meet so many amazing people, to make my story clear, to feel better that hopefully my kids will grow up and be proud that I fought back and took accountability for the things I did do and fought back on the things I didn't and call out the other bullies. There are bullies out there who, yes, I was a bully at times, but there were bullies bullying me too. Like it goes both ways. So, I appreciate and I see like so many people love supporting the streams like going nuts today, but this is hard, but I hope this is one of those moments where we push a button and we can move on to the next great thing. And I'm so grateful, gang, because I see so many people in here. F what I'm talking about, guys. The real reason we're talking about all this, I shouldn't keep showing there you go. But this is what I'm trying to say. The reason we're doing all this is because we're raising money for the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. And the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay is a really crucial, amazing organization here in Tampa, and they help amazing people. They do amazing things and help people in need, whether they're assault survivors or they're currently going through abuse or they're suicidal. This happens everywhere, guys. And right now with lockdowns, as we said earlier in the stream, it's just terrifying to think of a child or someone stuck at home, unable to like get out and not what to do, or even knowing if they can. So this is a massively important organization. I'm so proud to work with them. I talked to them and they were so excited. I'm like, yes, let's do this ongoing. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So please, let's all pay attention to that and listen to people out there who have the struggle. And if you are going through any sort of thing, any sort of crisis, whether it's abuse, suicidal thoughts, hit 211 on your phone. That's all you got to remember, 211 on your phone. You can get someone to talk to in your area. They'll help you figure out where to go, what to do, how to get free resources. It's all free. It's all confidential. Please don't feel like you're alone. In some of those moments I felt alone, different, but still it was a crisis I was in too. Thank God I had my family. If I didn't have my family, I don't know what the hell I would have done. And I leaned on them hard. I had to, but some people don't have that right now. And as we're all locked in worrying about, oh, geez, what movie's going to come out? Guys, there's people who are like going to check out altogether because they're so depressed. So
no movies are coming out, Andy. They pushed everything back.
No, but I mean, but we're complaining about the movies being out of theaters. But guys, there's way worse. There are legitimate things that people like we should be worried about. So make sure you're checking in on people. Reach out. Be there for people. Make sure you get this message. Go tweet out about a crisis center in your area. The sexual assault hotline. There's so much you can do. I think that's here. The RAIN, the suicide, the sexual assault hotline as well. Where did it go? It was supposed to be here. I had it. But you can chat with them directly, or here's the number 1-866. They hit it. Why? I don't want it. No. Anyway, it's. Someone find it for me. 866. Sorry, 1-800-656-HOPE. 1-800-656-HOPE. If you want to go directly to RAIN or worldwide, but you can hit 211. You'll hit everything. But anyway, I want to make sure I did that plug so everyone understands why we're here.
Yes, sir.
So awesome. Shall we keep going? I'm behind on a few. So thank you. Keep the money coming because regardless if I get your question tonight, it's going to a cause.
A lot of love, so we want to thank everybody.
I'm a little behind, but I'll try and catch up. But let's keep going. We're going to do this for a while, and then I may jump over to Twitch for a little while just to sort of show some love on that channel too. But let's see what we can do. All right, so failing poster productions. Thank you, $20. I am wildly curious. I've heard that Kevin Smith will never be on Screen Junkies or Movie Fights again. Why is that? I don't know. News to me. You'd have to ask him. I don't know. I love Kevin Smith. It breaks my heart that I lost touch with Kevin Smith. I hope someday I can earn back his trust and respect. Someday I would love to work with Kevin Smith. I respect him tremendously. Getting to work so close with him and getting him to like text me on my birthday and like having that relationship was amazing. I understand why you want to be distant. I mean, the dude also had to deal with the whole Weinstein dilemma, which I'm sure he had nothing to do with. So he was put in a very odd situation. And I apologize to you, Kevin, that I put you in that situation by even being remotely associated with you, because I'm sure some people were like, oh, yeah, because everyone just assumes everyone knows everything. Kevin had no idea. Kevin was a professional. Kevin was the best. I love you, Kevin. I'm so sorry, Kevin. But I don't know if he said that. I don't know what he said. And if that, you'd have to ask him that. What was I going to say? We got another one here, and you guys can chime in. Did Mark and Draco ever reach out and rip you a new one because of the allegations? He's incredible hostile on Twitter, so I wouldn't be surprised if he acted all holier than thou about it. Nope, never heard from him. Never heard from him. Always loved Mark. I loved his work, what he did with his comics and everything. Love is Love. Love is Love comic was.
I have my signed copy of Love is
Me
Love
too.
on my bookshelf, right over there.
I am so sad to have lost contact with Mark and Draco. I understand why he would not want to be talking to me, given what all his beliefs and stuff. Never had an issue with Mark. He was the sweetest guy. So enjoyed working with him. Again, another person I hate that I lost touch with because of my stupidity and selfishness. He was a wonderful person. I know he would support this cause, and if he could support me, but I understand that he's not gonna. He's very loyal to that crew and sort of position. So I got no beef with Mark and Draco. He was always a pro.
That's good to hear.
And then we got another one here. It won't let me ask this question on the Cash App. What was the worst thing you witnessed any of the Screen Junkies crew do? I mean, it wasn't, honestly, it's not that, there's not that, you're not going to get anything like that. Like they were very normal people. We were all like, you're looking for like, oh, were they out there like doing drugs? No, we were just dudes who worked together and constantly stressed trying to make the
were you not at that cocaine party?
No,
okay, they didn't invite you.
No, I mean, there was no, I mean.
Yeah, me and Damien were there. I don't know.
Oh, I missed it, damn it. But
I'm
no.
I'm bottomless now. What are you talking about?
Michael, I appreciate the support for Crisis Center at Tampa Bay, but there's no like worst thing I witnessed. That's not what this is about. These guys aren't monsters. Just like I'm not a monster. They're not monsters. But there's some hypocrisy and there's some frustration and there's some other fan stuff that I'll get to if it comes up or if we have time. But no, there was no worst thing I caught any of them do. They're all really. Look. Let me reiterate. They're awesome. They're lovely, awesome, hardworking people. I miss them. I wish I could. That's why I worked with them and hired them. I looked up to them just like they looked up to me. The ones who stuck around, especially like the team that became there. Like, of course, we were very. I consider us very close. My favorite thing was Flickbait. Like, I loved that show because it was just sort of like us finally just not caring, being silly, and more like what I want to do. And putting them all on camera. I pushed them for that to happen. Spencer didn't want to go on camera. They didn't want Dan on camera. So many higher ups wanted to get rid. No, you can't have Dan. He's so boring. I'm like, Dan is the viewer. Dan is the most knowledgeable movie lover there is. Like, it doesn't work without Dan. Like, you got to have Dan. Like, Dan knows more than all of us. Like, and he's the everyday guy, but he's smart and he can debate. Of course, I'm not like getting rid of Dan. And so, look, I absolutely respect those guys. I'm just sad. I'm hurt. They are too. I just think there's a lot of miscommunications, and I think there's a lot of rewritten history and sort of putting walls up to sort of justify and paint me the monster. And look, I'm not going to keep sitting back and just being paint. I got a Twitter DM. You're a monster for doing this. How dare you keep drugging up the mud, guys? They drugged up the mud. They went on a YouTube channel and the YouTube channel we built and called me out to 1 million people and never talked to me. They just believed everything they heard, and it was all from that one woman who I won't speak to, but the month. It wasn't right. It wasn't right. I didn't do everything perfect, but it wasn't right.
Well, I'm sorry. If a man is being charged in the court of public opinion, then why isn't he provided the right to defend himself in a court of public opinion?
Right. Well, even if a man does wrong, why can't he ever earn forgiveness or redemption if he actually makes work to atone for it?
What about the people in our prison systems right now who are convicted of crimes and get paroled and need to re-enter our society? Real criminals. Are they not deserving of redemption?
Good question. It's really funny because Hollywood is all about the criminal justice, right? They're all in there like, we got to get it, but they're not now with these Me Too people. Get rid, burn them! They can never be reformed!
He's a witch burner! No, my favorite professor, quick plug, my favorite professor in college and dear friend, Dr. Demetrius Semyon, who's a professor at Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama. He does a lot with reentry and prison missions. And he specifically runs an organization down there in Alabama to people going through reentry. And the first thing that is important for people who are getting paroled who are reentering society is owning up to what you did. It's not, well, you don't understand, I had a rough childhood, or this and the other thing. It's no, I did this. I assaulted someone. I did drugs. I sold drugs. I stole a car. You have to be honest about what you did and take full responsibility for it. And only then can you move on. Only then can you build a new life and make amends with the people who you hurt. And that was the most amazing thing that I learned working hands-on with him. And I'm lucky to still be friends with him too. And I will say it's astonishing to me that these people who believe these stories of sexual assault aren't willing to hear the other side at all. Or if they aren't willing to hear the other side, okay, cool, this person's a monster and horrible. What do we do with them now? They're still there. They're still alive in society. Where do they go? What do we do with them? Are you going to fix the problem? Are you going to minister to the drug dealers and the rapists and the people who've committed assault? Are you going to go in there and try to create change and try to help them and try to help them re-enter society? Because they're not just going away. We can't just burn them at the stake.
Well said. Absolutely well said.
No, that's amazing. I'm looking at this one time, so I'm listening to Maggie, and I'm trying to remember the episode of Movie Fights you were on, and I'm honestly thinking to myself, can't wait to fight this girl. I'm like, she's well spoken.
But I've dropped my phone twice, so there's that. That's my weak spot.
On another night, I'm looking forward to you guys in the chat. You know, Maggie's dropping some serious knowledge. I'm sitting there going, can't wait to fight this girl.
Let's talk about Star Wars for a second.
And sorry, I didn't mean to. I cut away from you. Just I was trying to make sure I have all the chat because I open up Streamlabs because it helps me. I think I lost some chats and I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. But yes, Maggie, I hope you become a regular here and fight us all the time because it's so fun talking to you. All right, but should we get to another question? Hold on. I need a third monitor at some point because this is killing me. Hold on. All right, let me go to this.
I happen to have one, so if you want.
Oh, good. So at some point, I think I don't know if
it's a smaller monitor, but you would just use it for like chat, right?
Yeah, I don't know if my system can handle it. We'll see. But yeah, hold on. All right, so next up we had how awkward was the Adi Shankar movie fight in person? I mean, he's as awkward as it was for you. It was. He had a lot to say, and he's another passionate guy, and he wanted to be heard. And yeah, it was a little weird at times, but I didn't hate the guy. But yeah, I think awkward is a good word to use. But
good word.
You know, he was nice to us. He showed up. He gave us his time. I respect that. I got no beef with Adi Shankar. But yeah, it was a little strange. I think that's just sort of the way he likes to be. And then we had, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Here we go.
Also awkward.
Oh wow, you guys. Thank you guys for doing this. Hold on.
We're all supposed to be a little awkward. I'm allowed to be sliding in and out of that.
Yeah, you gotta listen to our friend Bob Ross painting a mountain. Be like, give this tree a name.
I'm gonna try. If I missed you, tell me.
Weird, but it's okay.
Here we go. Eduardo, Maggie, you are a treasure. Bless you and your hubby. Agreed. Bravo. Well, so glad we could reconnect. Let's see here. Thank you for the donations. Let's see. Another Eduardo. Andy, you are great at what you do. Never give up. Never give up. Never surrender. I agree.
Yeah.
I have that shirt.
Thank you. Sorry. Here we go.
Ooh, good question.
What do what do a Jav Turkey send in love? Love you, Ian. It's controversy. Yeah, you should call. I'll give you the link. You could join our conversation too. But thank you always for being there. Go subscribe to the controversy, everybody. Ian Elliott Carter is one of those guys who just is always hustling, trying to get to that. And I admire it. I love it. And he was there early on, attempted to tell my side when everyone wouldn't. So Ian, I love you, brother. Go support the controversy over on YouTube because he's a good friend. And sorry, let's see here. I gotta give these people love. What's the deal with Joe Starr? He's seriously overcompensating for so much. He tries to be so woke, and he seems so disingenuous about his stances.
Interesting.
I do believe he believes everything he believes, and look, he was a good worker. He's a kind person. I I don't like what he did after the fact. I don't like that he went and spoke for things that he actually had no idea what he was speaking about.
Yeah.
Because he went on like a Reddit thread just to demonize me and like, Andy, movie fights is so less toxic now. Now we'll pay the guests. And it just read like there were, I don't know who told him that, but it just read like that was my fault. Like, no, it was the memo. Don't spend money. And so, yeah, that's when you work there. Anybody who has a job like that, you can't just throw money out there. And, it was exposure. People were coming on for free, and it was what it was. But look, clearly paying them didn't work either because the show's not on anymore. So you tried to overcompensate for that show, clearly, and call me out. But look, my only beef with Joe Starr is like, don't step up and talk about stuff that you don't actually know behind the scenes what was going on. That made me kind of really dislike the guy. Best of luck to him. Clearly, he was the first to block me, so I don't ever expect to engage with him again. No love loss, but I do wish him well. Let's see here. Spencer Gilbert always seems super smug about himself. He's smart, but why does he always seem so poor to portray himself as a bratty rat? I'm going to defend Spencer. Spencer clearly is never going to defend me from what I've gathered, but I love Spencer to death. He is so talented. He is so much better than the job he's doing. I wish to God he would go write somewhere better and get paid better and because he's so funny, so smart. He just doesn't care about the bullshit is why it seems like smugness. But he's such a pro. He's so nice. He's so healthy relationship, nice guy, checks out, goes home, doesn't stay late more than he needs to. He's just a good dude. I got no problem with Spencer. Very sad that I had to lose that sort of friendship relationship. I understand why. But I don't agree with you on Spencer. I mean, sure, that's how it came across, but that's not the person he was. He was
I'll just say
very nice
that he was one of the people who was very nice when I met him. And he was
so
definitely
funny.
he was one of the people who was very excited that the fans had come out and had gotten there on their merit to come and fight. So
yeah, no, he was super funny, super smart. What were we say, Damon?
Spencer just reminds me. I know a couple of guys like him on set and stuff like that. And he just reminds me of that guy. Like when you said, "Don't cut the bullshit." He also seems like someone who doesn't like to perform. Like honestly, guys,
no, he
I'm
did
here
not want to be
doing
on
my thing,
camera. It's true.
and I'm not gonna overperform or act more excited than something. Now, if something genuinely excites him, he gets excited.
But that shows you why Spencer was.
Things.
That's why Spencer was such a great person, because he did not want to be on camera. He did not care. He's on Twitter. He doesn't want fame. He doesn't give a crap. But he did it. He did it. Like, he listened, he did it, and he made it fun. And that sort of attitude, when I saw, I was like, oh, we got to have that. So I want to do the honest interviews with him, because I was like, oh, well, he's going to make me way funnier, and he just doesn't care. And I knew of that crew. Like, I didn't care either. Like, I was there fun, but I would ask anything. I was used to sort of the prank world, and I didn't care about that. So I just thought that sort of could together. So I got Spencer was great. I'm not going to support you calling him a bratty rat. Hypothetically, if SJ did have problems with you as a boss, what could they have done differently? Maybe taking it to Defy. Defy seems incompetent. Look, I'm not going to get into Defy reasons. Just not going to talk about Defy. As for Screen Junkies and the crew, I don't know. I don't know what they know. Apparently, they think they know more. Apparently, more girls came forward. I don't know what they're talking about. I know who I talked to. I think things just ballooned out of proportion, and I think any accusation to any degree was carried in the same weight is where I have trouble.
Yes.
And I what's really sad is, like, why can't I hear what those accusations were? That's really troubling to me. Like, they still don't really even want to reveal that. Like, that's just, they're like holding on to it, like,
in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, and they're just like holding on to it, like, we know more than you know. Like, guys, I know what I did. I've taken accountability for what I did. I'm always doing it more than some of my audience members want me to do it. So, look, all I wanted to do was, like, have those conversations privately to learn, to grow, to mature, to try to figure out who was uncomfortable, why were they uncomfortable, how am I supposed to learn unless we have conversations, guys? That's what this stream's about. That's why I'm still annoyed. That's why there's no closure, because I don't even know. There's still things I don't even know. It's asinine. It's asinine. And if
I was going to take that question and just quickly flip it, you've mentioned in the past, and just on the stream, that as a boss, you would have done different things, and as a producer, there's always things that you learn from one production to the next. If you had to just, aside from the obvious of maybe not flirting with fans in any way, shape, or form, what would be the other thing that you would have said you would have done differently to improve Screen Junkies as their leader?
It's hard to answer that question. I don't really want to get into the politics of the business. But I would have just been I don't want to say better person, but I would have been I would have stopped listening to the mandate, and I would have attempted to sort of relate more to what was happening and to the people around me and appreciate them even more than I did, which I did. But I think you can get so warped up in the deadlines and everything that you just forget to like really. I tried my best to always make people feel appreciated and tell them. But, you know, there was a little bit of like, who gets to talk to Andy was really the vibe there a lot of times. And when I noticed people that I didn't even do that on purpose. But when I noticed like from people who would tell me that was the vibe, I sort of owned it and embraced it because it let me do work because people left me alone. And then there was a little bit of a mysterious like, oh, are we allowed to talk to him or not? And it just happened on its own because I was put a little higher than most because of my creative achievements and stuff. And so I wish I could have like probably kicked that down a bit and a bit more. You know, while it helped, I do think it could have helped. I mean, everyone was loyal and it liked me to my face until that day. So again, it's like, I don't know. I'm sure, again, conversations I'd love to have with some of my ex-employees, just civilly, privately, just to learn, you know? I would love to learn.
I think that is fair from your perspective, because obviously I'm not trying to discount how you feel, but I just want to add, imagine if the genders were reversed in that scenario and you were a woman who were saying right now, oh, I wish I didn't take my leadership role so seriously because then my employees wouldn't have called me a bully, or then my employees wouldn't have brought my sexuality into it. Like if you were a woman right now who was saying that you regret not doing your job well, and we all know you did your job well because Screen Junkies was at its most successful when you were there. If you were a woman right now who was saying, oh, I wish I was nicer, there would be millions of people coming out and saying, look at this person who's been made to feel ashamed of their success because of their sexuality. I'm not saying that men who are powerful and who have success should feel like they're entitled to flirt or to engage with female fans in whatever way they see fit, especially ones that have made a previous commitment to someone. But isn't there a double standard? If there was a woman who was fucking lots of dudes right now, we'd be saying, yes, queen, get it. That's what, like, if we were seeing a female pop star, a female businesswoman who was going out and sleeping, we would support that. And we would celebrate that right now. That's the political climate that we're in. If you've ever picked up, I'm the only lady right now, but if you've ever picked up a ladies magazine, picked up a Cosmo lately, it's men don't even factor into it. It's nothing. It's not how to please your man. It's here's how to have as much sex as humanly possible. Like that's just where we've evolved to as a society. And it's very strange to me that as it's gotten more and more and more acceptable for women to be sexually liberated and to be successful in business and in politics, why has it gotten less okay for men to do that?
All good questions. I don't know how to answer you.
Or the opposite, or a man who's married and wants to take his relationship or commitment seriously. Like when Mike Pence came out and said, hey, I'm not going to be alone with a woman who's not my wife. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where there might be temptation or something might be misconstrued. Regardless of your politics or how you view him as a person, that's a completely acceptable view to say, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I can make a woman feel uncomfortable or where something I do can be misconstrued. But that was viewed as you're sexist and awful. And I'm like, no, hold on a second. If a guy talks to a girl or flirts with a girl who's in power, he's horrible and victimizing them and creating a sexual power balance. But if a man says, I won't be alone with a woman who's not my wife, he's horrible and sexist and creates. So what can you do?
Damned if you do.
Damned if you don't. No, well said. I mean, but let me get to some of these other questions because we're gonna get to a lot of this, I think, as we keep moving because there's more. This next one I jumped ahead because I'm just like, oof, okay, this is one I was prepared for. And look, this one's I have a lot to say about this one. So look, since you asked, why did Danny Fernandez come after you so aggressively? Good question, Spinning Art. Danny Fernandez came at me very, very, very hard. So I'm going to come respond finally, officially, because she was very, 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 very vocal about me on Twitter. In fact, I think I have one. Let's show. Yep, here we go. I think I came prepared for this one because this.
If you guys haven't realized, Andy keeps receipts.
Yeah, that's been proven.
So let's go back because you guys know all the tea and you know the receipts. They never contacted the additional witnesses that also included 2 male producers. They had a detailed list of graphic instances. They told one of their women that they had defied best interest heart. That literally was what they told her about her. This is the person who shall not be named. They told her that because they saw the receipts. Several people in the film knew Communitas, and I told them personally, and they continued to work with him. So this is what was happening behind the scenes. This was what was happening in, April, May. So she talked to April. And I have the receipts to that. Hold on. Oh, wait, no, that's not that one. It's not that one. So this is where it all started, guys. July 19th, 2017. This is all from Twitter, from a Dick Fundy tweet. She responded to him. Happened to me. Someone on a panel invited me to their after party. Guys, you know that's not true because you read the text. And it turned out to be just him in his hotel room trying to take advantage. Not true. You guys saw the receipts. So that's why Nick Mundy doesn't like me. That's when this started in July. And then... this person named Miss Movies, she came forward. I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm so proud of your bravery. Let's talk about it now. Yes, you and Miss Danny Fernandez helped me become open to talking about sexual harassment. Thanks for speaking up and giving me courage. Thank you. I'm still mustering up the courage to move forward and naming the individual so all will know his name and his house of cards will fall. So guys, this was predetermined in July of 2017. And she's a liar. She's a liar. She's a liar. And Miss Fernandez is like, not necessarily a liar, but just, she never complained about anything she saw herself, to give her credit. She came forward and said, that she's witnesses that saw what witnesses? They weren't in the room. What witnesses that saw what? Like, what does this even mean? And then, that Defy said this. Yeah. Defy had more information than you did, Danny. They absolutely did, clearly, because now the whole world has more information about why they said they have best, because they knew this was a shit show, And so that's the problem. And so this became the MO. This narrative I keep talking about, this malicious narrative started by the 3 of them in July, and I think earlier. And so you got to know, like, this is worthy of unpacking. And so when I have to spill the receipts instead of say the things I say, like, it's important that I share the story of Miss Movies because she was vocal publicly talking about it as well and came at me and so on. And so that's the person I was talking about to Maggie, who I didn't name names because I didn't want to. I had no real problem with her. I honestly didn't really care. Like, it was what it was. Like, she tried so hard to get on the show. That's all she wanted to do. She tried so hard that there were baked goods, kissy faces, emojis, Roger Rabbit, kissing Jessica Rabbit, things she sent. It was too much. I was uncomfortable. It was so much. My wife at the time had to say, dude, don't talk to this girl. This girl's clearly a groupie. The entire office knew this. They're all cowards. They don't want to admit it. But come on. This matters, guys. This matters when you're going to trust a person. I can tell you, I'm not going to say, but again, not their story to tell, but people in that office were very frustrated with her based on things she would do and accusations she'd throw out and why isn't he doing this, da-da-da-da-da-da. There's so much baggage and history behind this person coming at me. And so why did they come at me? Danny came at me because Screen Junkies didn't have enough women on it. And some of that was public on Twitter. You guys may remember and read it. And I fought back and I said, look, I'm not going to just put women on the channel because like, I'm going to put women on the channel every time I can, but they got to know the show or it's going to be worse for women because the audience is going to hate it. And then our views are going to tank and then I'm going to fire everybody. Or you say, that's what this is so much more important. Like, of course it is, but come, I have other people feed me. Sorry, you're not my boss, Danny. Like, I have to make sure they're all working. So we had a lot of back and forth, a lot of them public, some of them in DMs. And she had it out for me because I was not diverse enough on Screen Junkies. Guys, I don't know how to defend myself there. You can look for yourself. I put Millennium Falcon, I fought hard for because she was brilliant, funny. Roth Cornett, brilliant, smart person. Every time I could, I tried to put people on there and push for that. Maggie on the show, I made a point. We can't have 3 dudes on there. Maggie's fantastic. Of course Maggie's in the running. Like, of course it was there every time we could, but I wasn't going to force it. Danny wanted me to force it. So that's where the intent came from. And then the woman who should not be named, and then Miss Movies, all of them got together. You got to also know, again, now I'm speculating now a bit, but I'll let this tweet sort of speak for itself. Thank you, Schmozno, for speaking up about sexual harassment in tonight's episode. JT, thank you. We're so proud to call you friends. Why would it benefit them to kick me out, guys? Let's go to Damien. Hey, Damien, you think if you're like a competing network and you suddenly are hearing all this drama from 3 women, would you jump on it?
Hey, man, you know what you do. The best way to take out the army is to cut the head of the snake. So, you know, they were gunning for you, man. I mean, at the end of the day, any support from a competing channel, even though they say it's friendly competition, at the end of the day, everyone here in this chat and everyone has said it. You know, there's been a definite different feeling over at Screen Junkies, and that's happened since your absence. Yeah. And so and I personally can honestly say I moved from Screen Junkies and started watching more Collider after you were gone because it just wasn't the same. So that was my move. So if that was the strategy, it worked.
As you're talking, I want to pull up. So as I tell this story, I think it's just important to set the tone again because, look, I don't want to just call people out and be like, well, it's he said, she said. Guys, this person.
It's really not.
This person. This person.
She said he provided documented proof that she did not say what was true.
Well, no, but I'm just saying this person. I'm sorry. This is public. This is a YouTube video, so I'm going to go there. This person came at me saying, hey, Andy, you know what? I want to dress in sexy outfits and put on the Screen Junkie show. This is one of the many countless things that, of course, I was like, oh, my God, back off. Why would I do that? Why would I put some fan on a Screen Junkie show changing sexy outfits? I was like, no. But she did it anyway. Here it is. Let's recreate all this. How wouldn't it have this been a great Screen Junkie show, guys? Having her, she talks about let's recreate that moment from Fast Times at Ridgemont High where she takes the top off. Guys, I'm sorry, this was not going to be a Screen Junkie show. And look, I'm not trying to slut shame or like good for you, blah 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 blah. But look, you got to understand how this came across, right? Like this is weird. And this was why I had problems with her and I felt uncomfortable by her. And so at a certain point, when she started coming at me, calling me a sexist, why am I not on the show? I was over and I told her, I was like, because I think you're a groupie. You're not that good on talent. And I think you're trying to just sleep with us all. And she's like, what? No. And I said, you're telling me you don't want to sleep with us. She said, no. And I said, well, great. You got to understand, though, that's what we all think. Ask anybody. Everyone wants to hang me out to dry, but ask anybody. I so want to name some names because you know who I'm talking about. You're watching this and you don't want to help me ever. Come on. Enough.
Oh, I actually
enough. She was aggressively did anything in her power to sexify, to be on camera, and then she came at me. And notice when she told her story, when I played it back, oh my God, he was baiting me to see if I wanted to have sex with him. That's the only thing she shared, guys. I'm sorry, that's not okay.
That quick transition from predator to victim is what's disgusting to me. And only in today's society, only women have that ability to go quickly from predator to victim, to aggressively sexually pursue someone, and then at any point to say, hey, like let's be real. If I went to a bar right now and I started grinding on a guy and dancing and he like reciprocated and touched my body, I could go, hey, this guy's touching me. And there'd be 2 or 3 or 4 random dudes that would just be like, hey, is this guy bothering you? You know,
100%.
It's so what bugs me that's not a bad thing. That protector instinct, that masculine instinct where men want to come around and identify the people that are danger to women, of course that's not a bad thing. What's a bad thing is when we have these women who are using their sexuality to get farther, which, as I said previously, makes it harder for the women who are trying to get there on their brains and their talent. And then when it doesn't go their way, are then using the sexuality that they were trying to use to get ahead to claim, Well, this is why. Oh, well, I wouldn't sleep with him. Well, he was trying to bait me, so that's why I wasn't on the show.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is that when it happens to a woman, you know what I mean, and a woman does it, it could be tragic, and it is entrapment to say the least. When a woman does that, when she goes from predator to prey to victim. But the funny thing is, you make that a dude, and now it's a comedy. Now you put that in, if a dude does that, same scenario. I go to a bar, I'm hitting on a chick the entire time. She actually gives me the time of day and starts coming on to me, returning that attention. And I go, whoa, hey, yo, too much, too fast. It's a comedy now. People are laughing. Heck, other people are going, no one's gonna come up and say, is this woman bothering you? That's not gonna happen.
Hey, is this chick bothering you? I'll do it, buddy. I'll defend you in a bar. Hey, back off. Too close, lady.
Yeah.
No, but
other women aren't gonna come up and be like, hey, you know what? I think you treat him like a piece of meat. I think you need to back off him a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not gonna happen.
Well, and I want to say, because I see in the comments, she was married with kids. I said that. You got to remember, I did too. So that can't be the judgment of what it is. And look, she said she didn't. So maybe it was all misunderstanding, right? Maybe. But here's and again, I would love to have had that conversation with Brianne. I thought we did. When we ended it was like, oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. We don't have to speak about this, but now I'm glad we got all that. We aired it out. If you ever have a problem, just come to me. You don't have to blast me on Twitter. I thought we ended it well. But you guys got to remember, this is why it didn't end well. Because they were all talking. Because she's a liar. She was a liar. And she had it out for me. And so when these three teamed up, it was over for me. Because they were doing this in July, spraying the seed over on Collider, over on Schmoes, over and over. And look, I don't want to throw Christian or Schmoes under the bus. I don't know what they know. Dude, I would love to talk to Christian. Christian, I've tried for months. Let's talk. Why are you so afraid to talk? Oh, we only do movies over here. Yeah, okay. Well, you talked to Roxy. You talked to a lot of people who called me out. Only feels fair. I guess it's only one side over there for as real as they get. But look, I mean, I don't know what to do. It's like I don't genuinely believe they were out. Schmoes and all them were trying to take me out. What am I supposed to leave to think? I mean, these two people were liars, and they were all cozied up. And thanks so much for. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Look, I don't know, but I'm just pointing out these public tweets because it's like I don't know what else to say. But that right there is pretty much the biggest T that I want to sort of put out there because I've been sort of holding on to that for a while because it's just like, it's complicated, guys. And so why Danny had it out for me? Because I didn't put enough girls in the show. And so ever since then, she was dying to find someone who had a story on me. She was dying for it. And then when they found April, oh, man. And then when Brianne found out, oh, his cards are going to fall. Like this was intense, guys. They had it out to get me. They wanted me gone. And then there were a lot of people who weren't happy with me and they were happy to push me out. Now, look, I still made mistakes. I was over-flirting with fans. I've made infidelities. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm innocent, but everything's more complicated. There are motives behind things, whether they meant it or not. Like, they don't understand, like, what happened. So that's a big sort of thing I'm glad to get off my chest and sort of put out there because it is what it is. And am I crazy, guys?
No, not one bit.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that. There's a lot of people in the chat right now who are talking about
I'm behind on the tell me because I'm trying to go through my chats.
Just as I'm looking, there's a lot of people in the chat right now who are, some of them, hadn't been here the whole time, so they're like, whoa, shit got real. Like I'm catching them to, but no, there's a lot of people. I did not have too much wine. I had one. Calm down.
I'll leave Maggie alone. Yeah.
I'm Greek. I can drink a bottle, bitch. I'm fine. Anyway, so no, but in all seriousness, there's a lot of people who are saying not everyone's agreeing, and I very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
Not everyone's saying. Some people are like, okay, well, that's your opinion. We just want to hear the facts. Some people are like, it's important for all of this to come out. Some people are saying, it's a very much a respectful discord right now.
Good. And look, this is exactly what it's about because it's about conversations. There are clearly conversations that still need to be had. It wasn't clear cut. It wasn't cut and dry. I have questions too, guys. Good. I'm glad they're asking questions because, look, and like I say, I'm not trying to say there's a conspiracy, but there was with those two. There was with those two.
It definitely wasn't a random act of circumstance.
No.
It was definitely not that. So
And
we don't
I
have
mean,
to conspiracy. Once you have more than 2 people, it's a conspiracy. Just FYI. So whether you're counting one of the other women,
true.
the 3 women, or you're counting a JTE or someone of that nature, once you have more than 3 people, it's a conspiracy. So the conspiracy is actually the right term for it, because it wasn't a series of unfortunate events. It was not.
No, but it started with someone who was lying. She literally was telling them, "Oh yeah, you
Right.
went to this after party and did this thing."
Well,
you got to really step back and think about that. She's telling people who honestly, and I say this about Danny and Brienne, who may have just made mistakes, and believed her, and I understand why they would believe her, because she's telling you something you want to believe her. I get that. But she's telling them lies. We didn't hook up then. I didn't try to do anything like that. Now people will still say, "Well, Andy, blah, blah." I'm sorry, I don't know how else to show you in those texts. Like I'm like, "Oh, I wish we should have done." Like I was just an awkward flirt. I didn't know, and I didn't flirt that time at all.
I think,
and so it's like it's really scary that she's trying to say that's what happened when after party. What after party is she talking about?
If anything, the other fans who came out and said, like, Andy also flirted with me, proves your narrative in regards to that relationship, in which you were like, there were people who were making fun of you and saying, like, the only real tea that's been spilled is that Andy has no game, and you were coming out being like, yeah. I know.
No,
like,
it's not. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny because it's like embarrassing that I had to have my ex-wife and kids read that. That wasn't.
And I understand that. I understand that was real pain, but it's strange to me that people were reading that and then being like, so you really think that he instigated this intense sexual relationship? Like, you've read all these texts with all the other women, all the other instances, and you think that he was the primary instigator in this relationship. That's what you really believe. Because if anything, all the other flirtations that were made public prove the opposite of that.
And just to clear the record, Andy has game. Okay. he's
Damien's like, now hold on.
I'm like, I've hung out with the dude. Okay.
Thank you, Damien.
He's got a beautiful person with him. And
I'm so happy now. I'm so happy.
You have to have some game to do so. So he's.
Well, all right. There's so much more to get to because I'm gonna try. I don't know if we'll get to all these, but we'll try. Who's the worst movie fights guest? Kim Scorcher.
Damn, that was quick.
That was easy. If Dan pursued the fan after she flirted, then why wasn't he called a predator? Why is he given a pass? He did the exact same thing.
Because they dated longer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's a predator. I don't think I wasn't a predator. He dated a fan. So that's what it is. What it is. They're very happy together. Good for them. Happy for them. I do really genuinely wish them best. But it's relevant, guys. I'm sorry, it's relevant, Dan. I'm sorry, it's relevant. It is. You don't want to talk about it, but you guys disparaged my name out there and called me Harvey. You caused this. Like I want to make sure this is everywhere. Like that. Yeah. Like you gotta understand why I'm angry and why I'm like doing all this. Like that's not okay. You can be mad at me. You can think I was a dick. You can do it. I am not that man. I'm nowhere near that man. No one can come and try to tell me I'm anything like that person. So that's why this is really about. You got to remember that. That's why I'm heated and annoyed, because it's still there. I still get it, still every day, and I'm going to get it for the rest of my life. I got to deal with it. I got to move on, but it's like, in order to move on, I got to get a lot of this out. That's what this stream is for. And also why this stream is for is because we're doing it for the good of the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, guys. I see your donations. If I don't get to them all, know it's for a good cause. And I appreciate it. This stream is on fire. There's a lot of people. I think there's some people watching this who don't want to chat because they don't want to tell us they're in here. I'm sure I'm going to get some messages and texts tonight, tomorrow. But yeah, this is what it's for, because guys, right now as we're all on lockdown, go do your part, donate here or donate there at crisiscenter.com. It's the local crisis center. They do so much for the people here in need. We're talking about sexual assault survivors, people who need to get out of abusive relationships, suicide prevention, so much good work they do. That's important work. And if you are ever feeling alone, if you are ever feeling having a struggle of any point of an abusive relationship or anything, all you have to do is dial 211. Dial 211, and you can get in touch with a crisis center counselor for free to help you through this. It's so important we get that message out there and we help get this word out there. You guys can get involved. You can volunteer. There's crisis centers all over, guys. You can look one up in your area, but I'm focusing locally now that I'm a Tampa Bay native like Damien. Woot woot. I want to support the local.
The lightning sucks.
No.
We've beaten you before.
But very, very important. That's why we're doing this. That's why I'm doing all this, just to get it out of me, but also do it for an actual cause. So I'm not getting paid to spill this tea. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, to really make sure we do something good here in April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Let's make April a positive word in my channel this month, guys. Let's do something good for it. All right, but thank you. Important. I make sure I reiterate that. Remind me, guys, to keep plugging that, because I see a lot of people in here. I want to make sure that everyone understands that's where this is all going. So as we get through, Andy, I highly recommend reaching out to Max Landis on Instagram. He's doing a lot of discuss cancel culture after his Me Too thing. Would love to hear a discussion between you two. I talked to Max. We have talked. I don't want to talk about what we talked about because that's not my place. But we have talked, and he's put out a statement. Look, I don't know what happened. He said in a statement, it's hard because some things are there, but a lot of them aren't. So I can relate to that struggle he's having. But there's a lot of people who don't like him. So I don't know. I don't know how he solves that. It's nice to see him attempting. He seems to be doing the work. I hope he comes out there, does the apologies, and takes the accountability he needs to do, and help. But I think it's hard to ignore the certain things and just try to move forward. But from what I've gathered, he's working on it, and he's trying to do his best, and he's trying to clear up what he can. But it's hard. I understand it's hard. That this article came out and condemned him and said a lot. I read the article. I took the article very seriously. It seemed like a pretty researched article, but no, I haven't gone beat to beat to sort of understand, well, this happened. It's complicated, and I don't want to speak for him, but I have reached out, but I want to make sure he's doing more work on his recovery. It's still a little early for him before we do a chat on the channel or something, just because I want to make sure he's ready. But yeah, he is back. You guys want to go research and learn more about what he's doing, or if he's doing enough, that's on you guys to figure out. But I have to say, sorry, Damien. I knew nothing about that when he was on the show. I loved him on the show. He was passionate. I loved his passion. He was always a gentleman to all of us. He was always there extra. Showed up to Comic-Con last minute and blew off interviews for us. He was so generous and polite to us. So that's the Max I knew. So that's why I'm I want to hear more. At the same time, I get it. We got to sort of hear things out. But I'm more I got to hear it all before I can really make a judgment on things. So I'm not going to make a judgment on Max, but I'm going to say, do your homework. There is some stuff you can learn about him. What were you going to say, Damien?
Oh, well, two things. One, that Max is just one of those guest members on Screen Junkies that I've always been interested in seeing, picking that creative brain and seeing what would happen as more collaborations, and if putting him in the writer's room and seeing what else could come out of that. So to see the articles and stuff like that as a fan, I was like, man, that sucks. But then on the flip side, like you said about it's too early for him to come out and give his side of the story the way it is. I remember, and again, guys, Andy says it all the time, so I'm trying to speak from the side of someone who's just happened to see this, this transition, and this comeback, hands-on. It was like imagining someone when Andy would struggle to put these things out, when it came to him talking about, the receipts and putting that stuff out there. It's not just, it's really being very vulnerable. I mean, he's far more open about it now, but he was very, very vulnerable. And when I first met him, one of the things that I noticed is that him coming back out to this channel to rebuild the channel and do this with you guys was like asking someone who's freshly cut with razor blades to go jump in a pool of alcohol. I mean, it was like he's like, that's what he loved to do. He loved to swim, but he knew that if he's going to go swim, he's probably going to burn really, really bad. And that's it took a lot of, I could see him coaching himself and talking to not just me, but other people in the community and people in his family that supported him. It took a lot of courage to come back out and go, okay, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get up here. I'm going to put my heart out there. I'm just going to live on YouTube forever. And I'm going to do this one more time. So, kudos for that. And I can understand why it's too early for Max, but kudos, because it does take a while and the courage to do that, man. So
thank you, man. And love back at you. Damien's been a true friend, and I'm so grateful I met him and have someone to work with here in Tampa. He is the best. Go follow him. His film and stuff will be promoted on this channel, and so go follow Damien. Mr. Creative Freedom. Hope all's well. What's the weirdest or worst experience at a press junket? Yes, it was Vin Diesel showing up 4 hours late to the Furious 7 one with literally interrupting everyone's interview with a soundtrack from a Beats pill, you could just tell The Rock was like, are you effing kidding me? You're 4 hours late and you're interrupting my interview to It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's why they switched
wild.
to San Andreas. They're like, yeah, we're not going to promote this
Yeah.
film.
How
Just how Vin
awkward?
Diesel roll.
How awkward is that pop smoking movie fights? I love drunk fights, but that high one, it was so awkward. It was so boring. They just because they weren't passionate at all. They were just like, what? It was such a dumb decision.
I think people
but I loved all those
tend
guests.
to forget that the fun part of drunk movie fights was that it made people who are already disagreeing more like, no, fuck you. The animated Barbie movies are the best movie franchise in history. Just because they're straight to DVD doesn't diminish their quality. You shut your mouth. That's more fun to watch than someone
Wow,
just
that's
going
my opinion exactly. How'd you know
I know.
that?
Kindred spirits.
Mind reader.
Oh man.
So
I've lost comments. Sorry, I'm gonna try and go through my Streamlabs this week. But schmoes are out to them. I'm trying to collect all of you. I'm sorry, but guys, there's like 500 people watching, and you're sending a lot of money for that. It's a good cause. So if I don't get
Thank
to
you.
it, try or resend it now at a higher dollar amount, and I'll start seeing them now. Schmoes were out to eliminate the competition, then they all ended up getting fired without notice. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. That's what Bunda said. I don't think Christian was out to do that personally. Look, I didn't have a beef with Christian. I do a little bit now because he's painted the line. He doesn't want me there. He said it. I'm gonna respect that decision. But we talked personally, and he made it seem like he was going to, and then clearly changed path. Now that may be because the people who are working with him, just like Dan, he's close to a lot of those people, Roxy, etc. I get it. He's got to work with them. They live there. Who am I to him? We weren't that close. So I'm disappointed. It's a little hurt. I wish he would have the balls to just have me on there because I'm not going to come out and do this tea. I mean, if you ask me, I'll talk about it, but I hope you can see it. Like, yes, I've got some stuff I want to talk about, but at the same time, I'll answer whatever he wants to talk about or talk about the pain, the struggle, all that stuff. So I would love him to give me that chance at some point. I hope someday he can figure out or sees enough with me to sort of do it, but I don't think he was involved in that plot, but speculate all you want. I love you, man. Gabe Kelly. Thank you. Please leave this video on your channel. So I'm just tuning in, but I want to get back to Elizabeth. Okay, deal. No problem. I think this will probably get a good algorithm because the watch time is going to be pretty insane. It's been a pretty steady following this. All right. So I saw there were way more comments, but now my feeds to promote them is gone. So hold on. I got to go. Bear with me. Sorry, 1 second. I opened up the Streamlabs because.
Meanwhile, Maggie, I'm going to
talk.
I'm going to FedEx you some sort of a holder, or a sandbag.
Yeah, I'm embarrassing myself hardcore. I gotta imagine the mods.
Or are you on a phone?
I'm on a phone. I gotta imagine the mods are deleting 80 comments of like, "Girl, hold your goddamn phone. What's your problem?" I'm fully acknowledging that I'm failing at this with much apologies. But
Terrence Hall. Sorry.
I think that's why they think you had more than one glass of wine because they're like, she can't.
I'm just fine, guys. I'm fine.
She's keeping it fun, guys. Exactly. I can't even see.
I swear to drunk, I'm not God.
I can't even see what they're saying live, so hopefully they're not being.
No. Everybody's being great, and even if they were talking shit, it's all in good fun. We're all hanging out.
All right, so here we have.
Out of curiosity, based on your shirt, choose your princess. Which one do you think would actually win?
Oh,
so right now it looks like a fight because they've got weapons.
So yes, you have Mulan, and Mulan has her sword. You got Jasmine, she's got the lamp. You got Belle, she has the magic mirror. That's freaking useless. Oh, look, I can see what's going on in the outside world.
She'll blind you with the sun.
No, it's the magic mirror that shows you. It doesn't even, here's what's happening in Taiwan right now. Okay, cool.
She'll beat you because it's basically Netflix in her time.
That's true. She can beat you over the head with it. That's not nothing. You're correct. Or she could just break the magic mirror and be like, fuck magic, and shank you. That's valid. Ariel has King Trident's trident, which it's debatable if she could even actually use the magic of that since she's not King Trident.
Maybe she used it in one of the other films. I don't remember if she used it
She does not. In Ariel, Ariel, there's 3. It's Ariel's Beginning, which is that half movie, which takes place between Little Mermaid 1 and 2, and then Little Mermaid 2, which is the one about Ariel's daughter, where she's the queen of the kingdom with Eric, and she does not use magic in any of those. But Ursula does use King Trident's trident at the end of the movie, so someone who's not King Trident can use the magic Triton for their own means, but it's debatable whether or not the Triton was actually Ursula's in the first place, because in the Broadway musical, which is not necessarily canon, Ursula was the originator of the magic and had the Triton in the first place, and the whole plot of the movie took place when Ursula was trying to take back the Triton and trick her niece Ariel into getting the magic of the ocean returned. Stephen brought me a phone thing.
All right. Well, I appreciate your delay. Now I'm good. Let's go back to our donations.
Okay, cool.
You guys were fantastic at filling
Disney
time.
Princess interlude.
Yeah, you're fantastic. I got to first thank through the PayPal. We got Terrence Hall for $30. Thank you, Terrence. Boom, 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 boom. Keep doing what you're doing, because everyone deserves a second chance. You'll always have my support, Andy. Terrence, that means a lot. Thank you so much for the support there through the PayPal. And then I saw we have a couple other questions that came through. Let's see here. Sorry. Sorry, not thank you, Nil. Sorry, not scandalous. Interested in BTS your shows. Do you bootstrap and pay teams yourself initially? What did you take on? Did you take on investors for Screen Junkies? Wish you didn't. Did you still have ownership? How about Man at Arms? Again, I don't want to get into the Defy stuff for reasons. But I mean, no, we didn't. They were a company that hired us all. That's basically the answer to your question. So yeah, I mean, they had investors. I worked for Defy, and this sort of relationship with Defy. I don't want to get into bashing or talking or saying positive things about Defy. I'm just not going to say anything about Defy. But yeah, I mean, behind the scenes shows, we were doing, similar stuff that we had. You saw the crew. It wasn't that much larger than the ones you saw. But yeah, we had money. And then when we did Screen Junkies Plus, we had more. I loved Agents of Field. That was one of my favorite things we did, and I was sad to see that go. But we have a special guest joining, Mr. Jody of Jody's Corner. What up, Jody?
Hello.
Yo, what is happening? What did I miss? Shout out to my dude D. Damien's here. Maggie been on fire for the last 24 hours. What's happening?
Oh, thanks. We're just talking about the Disney Princess Death Battle.
Oh no, we've dropped a lot more shade than that.
Is the expose over with? Was I late?
No. Oh, it's just getting started. But I want to actually call you out, Jody, because Jody has been so instrumental in my sort of coming back to reality and standing up and fighting back and not giving a shit. And I want to thank you, man, for reaching out. Jody was one of the first people out there who was really, I wouldn't say you had my back, but you were like listening to both sides. You're like, well, wait a second, you got to hear things. And so I respected that you took it more seriously and didn't just jump to one side or the other. So Jody, I got to give you massive props. Thank you and then for all the advice you've been helping me just get real. It's helped me find an audience that actually, I see a lot of you in there that are supporting me rather than just a lot of you who are probably here just watching me. Ooh, let's see I hope he bombs. There's still a lot of those out there. But those of you, you know who you are, the ones who've been watching my streams every day and coming back. Thank you. It's because I got a prop for Jody for that. A lot of his audience and just giving me that energy. So thank you. So please subscribe over here. If you're watching right now, a lot of you hit that like button, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and then go over to Jody's Corner and subscribe to him. And then most importantly, drop a donation so we can help the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. Super, super worthy, important cause.
You got a charity set up and all that? That's dope,
Yeah,
man.
so this is super, super important. Hit 211 if you're ever feeling alone, stuck, if you're in an abusive relationship, feeling suicidal. You can get a Crisis Center by you anywhere. But I want to help my local Tampa Bay support system because they're amazing what they do. It's all for free counseling, rape kits, everything, legit. So please, I was going to get many of the donations I can tonight are going to go straight to that source. So please keep the donations coming as we sort of wind this up or get a couple more questions in. But that's all your to-dos. So Jody,
for those of you who've supported Andy and his journey, drop a donation to show that you believe in redemption and you believe in giving people a chance to change and reach a larger audience.
Yeah.
For those of you who are here to watch Andy fail and hope he crash and burns, put your money where your mouth is. If you really care about women and care about women, then drop a donation right here.
Yeah,
since you're already hanging out.
And if honestly, I hope literally, guys, my whole thing is just I'm trying to get people to find me again and to hear that I hope that you don't just take this as me being petty spilling tea. Yeah, I'm going to answer the tea because I want to get the donations and but I also really just want the truth out there, and I want to be able to share my side, and I do want to learn. I want to hear. I wish I could have more conversations with these people privately, whatever it takes, just so I can grow and really move on and be a better person because I don't like the person I was. I don't like that I cheated on my wife. I don't like that stuff. So that's what this is about. A lot of people just watch one or two videos of mine and just assume and see this and go, oh, he's capitalizing. Guys, no, Damien, Jody, Maggie, you all can attest. Like I am still beating myself up for many things I did. Jody tells me not to a lot, but I still, I'm still growing and still hurt and trying to move on. But the point is, please, I hope if you're watching this and you finally stumble upon this, that's what I've been trying to do is just find the audience again who respected and liked me to hopefully see I'm back. I'm trying my damnedest. We're doing some really fun movie content. Jody and I do some stuff. Damien's always there. Maggie's going to come back. We are creating a really fun new environment here where we just don't give a shit. Hey, we're going to have so much fun. We say it like it is. We respect each other, but we have fun. So subscribe if you're here. Follow us on Twitch. I'm going to try and do a quick Twitch stream later. Twitch.tv/popcornplanet. So all right. So there's a few more donations I want to get to before I try to jump over to Twitch, but we're so hot here. I want to see what we can do. But oh Jesus, this one's bad. James Slendorn, can I get a review of the Schmoes Know After Hours show?
Oh.
I mean, it happened. What you read is true. It was gross. It was so.
I don't know what happened. What was going?
It was so gross. I was watching and I was texting Alicia, Ken, and then Mark, and then Christian. I was like, "You guys got to stop. This is gross." And it got deleted. And I'm sure if that thing didn't get deleted, good thing they did delete it. I don't know if it exists. I didn't keep a copy to try and use it against them, but he should apologize for that. I mean, he probably did back then, but I mean, it just shows we all did stupid shit. He was drunk. He was drunk, and they did this sort of Howard Stern-y thing. But they had like all these like women on there, his people. And granted, they were chose to be there, but they were sitting on the couch, and the guys are up there making questions like, "Who would you want to choke while doggy?" And like the questions got crazy. The questions got crazy because it was after dark. And I get it. Like I watch Stern, but
that's fire.
When you have like
want to choke while doggy like a movie character,
when you have the boss of the show drunk asking the 3 female talent that question. That's not cool.
Wait, hold on.
Not cool.
PC not cool.
Are the females performing? So do we?
No. It's just all questions, and they didn't.
He's talking about from the back, choking her from the back while he pounds
That's not
flesh.
Oh, so you're saying okay?
Fire.
Well,
so it's like, which one would you rather of us? Yeah. Dude, anyway, my point is, it was that bad at times, and I know because I was texting with them, there was some people there who were feeling uncomfortable. Now, granted, they were drunk, it got out of hand, they apologized, they deleted it. I'm not here to shame them or judge them for that, but it's a point that we all make mistakes and do things that clearly cross the line. Again, it just points to the hypocrisy of it all, right? He should own up to that. He should say, I'm really embarrassed by that. But he's the type who wouldn't even address it. He's probably be mad I even mentioned it. But it's a reality. It's all. I don't have anything to hide. It is there. You can go. It's really hard to find, but I've seen people tweet and I've ignored it. But dude dropped $20 for the cause. That's important to me at Crisis Center Tampa Bay. I'm going to answer it. So it. But yeah, that was a real thing. That was pretty disturbing. I didn't like that, and I have the text to prove that I was, guys, I was the voice of reason. I would be very boring.
Danny
Fernandez
in an after-hours situation. If you're asking a woman, what would you want to do?
Oh, and it was
worse. The answer is always Deadpool. It's Deadpool.
No. It was which schmo would you want to do that to? Asking the female set. So imagine if I'm like, hey Roxy, which Dan or me, which would you rather do? It was that. Just so we're clear, like it crossed that power abuse line like crazy. Now, but just so I'm clear, like the irony that I have the text to prove, Miss Dana Fernandez, that your boy, I was texting your boyfriend. I was texting Christian saying, can I come in and save this because this is gross. I have the text the next morning.
It was gross. It's PC gross.
No, it was just like, it was gross. It's just like, this is uncomfortable to watch. No. Sure. I'm not, but it's like that. Sure. You're right, Jody. Thank you. But he was really drunk and I was talking to women who were there who were not comfortable. And I think it went off the rails. They deleted it. It went off the rails. I don't think it was intentional, but all I'm just trying to point out is like, shit happens. I'm not trying to judge him. He shouldn't be canceled for it.
You're allowed to point that out because these are the same people who are judging you.
Yes.
And they're willing to put women who work with them on camera.
Correct.
And talk about like, hey, which one of us would you bone?
Shouldn't cancel Christian. I'm not trying to cancel, but facts are facts. History is history. You can't rewrite the history. Yeah. It is what it is.
Did I miss the name calling? And did you name names?
He did name names.
Yeah, we named some names.
Oh shoot!
So you have to go back.
Danny Pooh?
No. Eduardo, well, let's get through some of these and maybe we'll do a recap.
I just want to say right now, my first little talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
JTE is the definition of a simp. Somewhere in the dictionary, there should be a picture of this man's name. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. Go ahead and get the rest of the donations. I'm sorry. Bro code,
no
bro.
one's
Bro code and that
no one's
shit
gonna
doesn't
deny
exist
that.
with you.
No one's gonna deny it. You'd think
I
they
just mentioned bro code in the chat. So yeah.
Bro code is a foreign language. to
you'd
this
think
man.
you would be happy when you're hooked up with your love of your life. No.
Thanks to you.
Aw.
That goes a couple
Thanks
ways.
to you.
Anyway,
you passed it to him.
Eduardo, Roger Barr.
Pass it to the left.
Roger Barr
Thank
thoughts.
you for the assist.
Yeah. Roger Barr thoughts. I liked Roger, and I saw what happened to Roger and his wife. It's a tragedy. I feel terrible for Roger. Roger did come at me hard at that point, but none of that matters. What he went through was awful when he lost his wife. So I got no beef. I don't even want to get him involved in this because he's not a fan of me from what I've gathered, and I don't disrespect the guy. I didn't mean to disrespect the guy ever. I never tried to. He was always fun when he came on. He was always passionate. His stuff against Nick was so fun. I love that guy. I know he doesn't love me. That's his right again, but no problem there. Eduardo, everyone in the chat is asking for Hal Rudnick. I'll ask for them. What's the scoop? He seems like a lovable guy, real professional. Yeah, Hal loves everybody. Hal tries to play everybody, and I'm sure Hal was. I'm sure Hal was just tough. Like, what do I do? I've texted. I've gotten like a very brief, just like that you did do. But look, I get it. He's loyal to them. He has to be. And he's PC as he can get. He always tries to be, and he's always lovable to everybody. I always loved Hal. I always stood up for Hal. And I didn't have a problem with Hal. Hal was a good dude. He worked his butt off, and there were some tough shoots.
They didn't
Very, very nice.
Yeah, they didn't pay for the.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sorry, Damien. What were you saying, Damien?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, what? Sorry, Jody. What? Pee-wee's Big? Yeah.
Have you guys seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Hal look like the type of dude where he got machines making his breakfast like Pee-wee?
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. No,
like
it's
you
all
wake up to
sports. It's all he's a
mystical wonderland around
sports
him.
fanatic. He's way more into sports than he lets on because he wants to be the movie guy. But he knows his sports.
Shut the hell, man.
But I liked Hal. I wish Hal the best. Again, hopefully
That's
this is
fun.
wrapping a lot of this up so we can move on. Sorry, off topic, but I wanted to ask you if you watched Better Call Saul, one of my favorite. I watched, but I didn't. When I got canceled, I stopped watching, and now I'm behind a couple seasons, so I got to catch up. But I really want to. I loved everything I saw, but I stopped watching TV and movies when that happened. Everyone would think, oh, you go. It's like now, but no, I didn't. It took a while until I watched stuff again. Like the first movie I think I saw was Ragnarok. A buddy took me out to try and like distract me, and it was tough. But eventually, obviously, it got back. But yeah, I lost touch, but I want to get back. I really like that show. Eduardo, again, shrimp and waffles. Woo! Thank you, man. Tony Court. Hey, bro. Tony Carant. Hey, bro. Have you seen Roxy's channel lately? She's having all these people on her show. Total cash grab.
Free.
And apparently, Dan is no good anymore, finding it hard to root for anyone
wow.
else
Might
except
as
for
well
you,
twerk.
bro. I don't watch Roxy. That should be a surprise. I don't want to fight with Roxy anymore. I've said my piece on Roxy. Roxy lied. I
Did she
never.
say that you did something inappropriate to
She
her?
said I was inappropriate to her in an interview with Christian. I don't know what she is talking about.
What did you do to her, Andy?
I shared the
She
story. I shared the story before. The only instance I can think of where I thought she was slightly inappropriate was we were doing a photo shoot for Flash and Friends, a show she hosted, and she asked me which shirt should I wear, and one was like a very tight knit cleavage showing like half shirt, and the other one's like a normal shirt. And so it's like it put me in a weird spot where I'm like, what am I supposed to say?
Ain't nothing weird about it. Tell her to put the shirt on and show them titties.
So, but as a boss, everything else,
Jody!
I paused because I wanted to be professional. And she's like, well, I said, whatever you want to wear. She said, yeah, but what do you want me to wear? And I said, well, you have one that's more slutty. That's going to audience is going to fawn over because that's what you're doing. That's your choice. You have one that's just more everyday, nerdy, casual shirt. I'm fine with either. It's how you want to present yourself because that's your choice. And I sort of
Still waiting for it to get weird.
I put it to her and I
what did
think,
she put on?
so I put it in that position where I think she just was like thought I was calling her slut. I don't know, but I was uncomfortable. Like, I'm not going to tell you to wear the slutty shirt. That was the only exchange I ever had. She then later came and apologized. Like, I'm so sorry. And I think maybe she thought that was an uncomfortable scenario for her. I felt uncomfortable. It's the only problem I ever had with Roxy once. The only other problem is I didn't engage with her that much, honestly.
That doesn't happen.
No, and the truth is I never engaged with her. I think if anything, she was probably mad I didn't give TV Fights or some of these other shows more love, but it wasn't my call. It was on
They weren't
behind a
very good,
paywall. But I gave her the gavel. I believed in her. She knew her TV. She was fantastic at television. I wanted her to do it.
But the watchability didn't lie in the host necessarily.
Well, it was
lied
behind
in
a
the
paywall.
Complete magic of the system. It lied in
Sure,
the
but-
audience participation and the fight, how good the fighters were, and that wasn't all put together with TV Fights was never complete. She wasn't a bad host, but it was never a complete entity. It didn't feel the same as somebody who was a longtime Screen Junkies fan. So,
well, look, that's your opinion. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It was behind a paywall, and I think that definitely didn't help its cause at all because it was stuck behind a paywall. But look, it is what it is. But anyway, that's all. Those are my interactions with Roxy. I don't know what she's talking about. I hardly talked to her, to be honest. I really did. I was just like always busy, and she was always trying to get time. What do you think of the show? What do you think of the show? Show's great. Keep it up. But I would always be honest. I don't know how long Screen Junkies Plus is going to last, but I want to keep you in the Screen Junkies news. I was always upfront with her. So I'm really depressed and discouraged by how she
while
just
the lynch
throw this
mob was
on.
out on you, Andy, she said he did something inappropriate.
He was
to
wildly
you,
inappropriate.
too.
And then she's like, well, not sexually. And then Christian
but that was after the fact.
Christian told me after, like, when that happened, I was sort of like, what? And I didn't want to engage. And so he's like tried to respect and move along. And if you watch the interview, it sort of does. But for someone who so like talks about it, she's now people have told me they've asked her and she doesn't want to talk about it in her stream. Look, it is what it is. But Roxy, that was defamation.
Yeah.
That was defamation, and it got picked up on Phil DeFranco's show. And look, I'll talk to you. Let's talk. I'll do it privately, publicly. I would love to clear that up. I'm sure there's a way we can both learn something from that to be really valuable for everybody. And I think that would be the best place to go because if I did something, I'm unaware of it, and I'd love to know just for my own sake. She knows I've reached out. Ball's in her court. I'm not going to keep talking about it, but in this stream, I said I would talk about it all, and then I'm moving on because I don't want to seem like I'm harassing her. I'm not trying to, but there's questions, and it's weird, and it affected my name. So that's where shit got south. So that's the rock story. Let's see. Justin Proper. Andy, you're cool in my book. You're better with Screen Junkies and not. You're better without Screen Junkies, and that literal bubble mentality. The interview with Jeremy was the best. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support for the Crisis Center Tampa Bay. There's a lot. Sorry, I'm just trying to speed through some of these so I can. Everyone who's showing love. Just showing some love. That Cobra Kai cap is fire. Can't wait for season 3. So good on YouTube. He's right. Go watch it. Cobra Kai on YouTube TV. Was how I watch it, YouTube Plus or whatever. And then we got, all right, failing. I'm not even reading these. Hopefully nothing crazy. Failing poster parts. Thank you. What is your relationship with YouTubers like Red Letter Media? I remember Jay being on the show many years ago, and they cameoed in Dark Knight.
Red Media, yes. And Max Landis was on their show too, in one of their best episodes before Neil Breen was a meme. Like they did double down with Max Landis on Best of the Worst. Like
I liked them, I respected them, and then when Honest Trailers was really starting to pick up and we were cool, I asked them to do it. They thought about it. They're like, all right, let's do it. They did this Prometheus thing that I wanted them to recreate for Dark Knight Rises, and they ad-libbed some. They read what we wanted. I had a pleasure working with them. And Jay was in town because they live, I forget where, but Jay was in town one time, so we did a couple panel shows with us. He knows his movies. I have no beef with those guys. I think they're great. Good for them. They've created their own little niche. They have their own little audience. They can do whatever the hell they do. They do their own little independent movies. I don't have a relationship with them, but I respect them and I wish them the best. And then I think, hold on, Riley wants to be paid for Star Wars theories. Lame. I don't know what that means. But Bunda got it. Okay.
Star Wars theories are so mainstream now that
Mark
there's
Riley?
there's no hot takes left.
Is that Mark Riley?
Yeah.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's Mark Riley.
James Slender, which is closer to Mark Riley's on-screen personality, cardboard or sandpaper? I mean, I don't know. I don't have that opinion on him. He's been. Someone told me hates me. I mean, I suspect he hates me because I just didn't put him on the channel that much because I had no opinion of him really whatsoever. So I guess the feeling is mutual.
You can spin either of those positive. You can spin cardboard or sandpaper into positive.
Look, I don't wish the guy any harm. Good, go support Mark Riley if you like Mark Riley.
He's sandpaper because you know what? He smooths the surfaces of all the people around him. He makes he's a little rough, but he makes everything run smoothly. And sometimes you need somebody a little rough to get the job done.
Oh, all right, nice. Well said.
Oh, that's on fire, Maggie.
All right, hold on.
Sandpaper.
I think I've gotten through it, so we might finally be caught up. I think we are. It's Maggie, you remind me of my. Thank you, Ergaro. Maggie, you remind me of my philosophy colleagues sipping red wine and speaking the truth. Damien, you are a real dude. Much love, brother. There you go. Both. I love my friends getting love. And then, but Ursula still has magical skills. Ariel has songs, even taking out the musical. She should have had some skill with Triton. There you go.
Yes, but Ariel doesn't have independent magic of her own. She has to go to Ursula to get spells done. Ursula doesn't have the power to take over the ocean. She only has the power to do certain things using her magic potions that she has in her undersea cave. I'd be willing to talk about this more.
Yeah, we will.
Anytime.
We will in a future stream.
Ariel should have had a diggle hopper underneath there.
She should, yeah. Everybody.
Once we get out, once we
That
get
would
this,
have been a way better. She would have just had a fork, you guys. That.
once we get all through this drama, and then we get all the haters who are just half watching, we'll get the real community back in, and we're going to build something fun with all you guys talking
Tell
about
'em to go
these
fork
real
yourself.
issues. So thank you. Hell yeah, Jody is here. Tony Carant throwing down $4. Thank you, man, for all of it counts. Planeteer, Ship and Waffles, Eduardo, thank you again. And then I believe we are. Oh wait, I had two more on the Cash App, and then you guys, if you want, I'm going to start wrapping this up because I do want to do a little bit on Twitch to send some love over there.
Here late.
But you guys will be able to watch because we're already we're pretty in this. But there were a couple Cash Apps I want to make sure I send.
Damn.
Steph, thank you, Steph. This fundraiser is close to me. Thank you for this. You are welcome. Thank you for finding us and being part of the community. Steph is amazing. So grateful for Steph being here, helping us and coming on the show sometimes. I look forward to working with her as well. Chris, thank you. Hey, Andy, just wanted to donate you for the cause. Thank you, Chris. Another Chris read the DM. Thank you, Chris, for there. I think I'm caught up. Check my PayPal. So now's your last chance, guys, as we wind down. Any other final questions? I want to talk to my panel here as we wind down, and then we may do a quick turnover to Twitch, or I have a couple other sleeves. No one things up my sleeve. No one asked, so you never know. So stick around. But Jody, so Maggie and Damien, anyone want to give Jody just sort of the quick recap summary of the best hits that Jody missed, so we can have all your final thoughts?
Please do.
Damien, you first.
Well, again, let's start with that Maggie started off this show with some fire, some dropped, and some personal experience about some of the things that have gone on and how abusive relationships are, and especially with everyone being locked in. How, some people are fortunate to be in a place where they can reach out to a community, or the people that they're locked in with is like cool to hang out with. Unlike that fight that we had, not everyone's locked in with Wolverine. A lot of people are locked in with, a real life Wolverine, and that's not as cool, as it sounds. So we talked about that. We talked about, the inappropriateness of the appropriateness of a fan dating up to someone that they admire.
He doesn't want to say Dan, but we talked about Dan and his girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah, we talked about Dan and his girlfriend.
Did you tell the story about the meeting and all that?
No.
Yeah.
That's fire, bro. Let's talk about it. That's fire.
No, I'm not gonna get into that. It's not my place.
I think that's one of those things.
Shoot, he should be freaking thanking you.
So I think mostly, we were bringing that full circle. Obviously, we talked about some of these, the conspirators who have come together, and how things are, once you get, like, if the three of us were to decide to do something right now against somebody, it's a conspiracy. That's all you need. It's three people. Yeah. So we discussed that. Honestly, the fans, got to give it to them. They've all been showing mad love and mad support the whole time. It's been fantastic. And, what I'm always just happy to be on here with y'all two, because I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a pleasure. I
It's
can't
always
wait
a
to
pleasure. This is a
talk
fun
about
crew.
your background there, man. This is a tight room right now.
It is. I'm very lucky to have all you guys. Here, wait, two more. One's interesting. James Slender, has Kevin Smith reached out? Nope. But
Nope.
I don't understand. I understand why. He's also been busy working on his Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which I heard did really well for him. So congrats, Kevin. I hope someday maybe we can, but I understand why he hasn't. He had to deal with the Weinstein drama and give a bunch of his money. He's just trying to not have any smoke under there, and I don't blame him for that. Jason Andafor, on Roxy's stream today, she and Ken are on, and they said their boss held women back on movie fights and didn't like TV fights.
All right.
Well, there you go. That is patently false. That's patently false. Ken, I love but Ken seems to go where the water goes, and so it's like I don't know. Ken. I love Ken though, but it's like. We got him into work for us, and then Christian sort of stole him back. Like the whole thing was just a little sketchy when we brought Ken on. But I like Ken a lot. I respect Ken. But that's just not true. That's just unfair to say I was holding the what was it called? The paywall was holding TV fights back.
Hey, bro, whenever you let
it
me
wasn't
know
my
when you're ready to
call.
take these gloves off, bro.
Well, I'm gonna say it wasn't my call. There were people.
I can say I was a subscriber to Screen Junkies from the beginning. I was watching movie fights all the time when I was in college, to the point where my roommate Emily, hey Emily, she would hear me all the time just in my room going, no, and that's not, and Christopher Nolan wouldn't, and she just opened the door and be like, movie fights? Yeah. So she I have been a fan for so long, and I was on Screen Junkies Plus. I won the right, to go out to LA and fight my fight. and I didn't do as well as I wanted to, but I never sat back and said, you know what? I only got to where I was because I'm a woman, and I didn't make it all the way to the top because I'm a woman. I lost because boobs. Like, I think that that's extremely insulting. I lost because I didn't do as well as I wanted to, because I got emotional going into the fight, because people brought up other shit that was not relevant to the fight right before we were supposed to go on camera, and that made the situation different. But I didn't lose because of them. I lost because I got emotional. That's on me. So it's really insulting when I hear these other women, other professionals say, I didn't get as far as I wanted to because I was being held back. No, the only person who can hold you back is you.
Preach. Roxy, you listening, Roxy? You listening, Ken? Ken, you didn't know how to produce the show, if we're really going to get honest, Ken. That's why... Let's be honest, Ken. Like, come on. You want to call me out and say I was holding women back? Ken, I'm surprising you. That you're just listening to Roxy, but that is Roxy is just upset.
If that were true,
I hope that that's the case. Fair enough. Well, but if Ken said that, someone find that or go watch and see if you can verify we're watching, because that is not fair. That is not true. I will say, here's what I will say about what I held back women. I mean, Kim Horcher being on is the perfect example of, I always took chances and put women on. And then that would happen. And there was a lot of women who just didn't really know what they were talking about, so, sadly, in that Hollywood space. Because it's not to say there aren't women nerds. They obviously are. But in Hollywood, the real knowledgeable women who were really ingrained with everything that we needed them to know were always busy. You know, like the Tiffany Smiths, the Alicias, like they were booked like crazy. And so it was hard. And, you know, our audience was toxic at times. Absolutely. And so it's hard to get women to want to be on the show. And so it wasn't from a lack of me trying to hold women back. Like, that's Roxy, I gave you the lead show on TV Fights. We let it go out there. Ken was your producer. You had every opportunity to let that show work. It didn't work. Why? How is that my fault? Like, I don't understand how. It's not I didn't like it. I just wanted to succeed. We let it go for as long as we wanted. I didn't dislike it. I disliked being behind a paywall. I disliked all of that. And you guys never even asked me that. I hate the rewriting of history to say shit like this, if that's true, because it's so offensive. It is just, you guys sour. You guys are sour. You're upset with your insecurities, and you're trying to blame me and rewrite the history that I held women back on movies. Like, what are you talking about? Alicia Malone went on anytime she would come on. Sasha, there's so many. Roth didn't want to go on. So I was dying to get women on that show. Like, they just didn't want to be on it, or they just weren't. I was like, every time someone like, I have this one, I'm like, is she gonna be good? Is she gonna like fight and be able to do it? I always had that question just to make sure, because I didn't want to have, you know, there were a few fights where we bring in, you know, women. I had fun. We did 2 in a row with 3 women. And like Amy Nicholson, fantastic. She didn't want to come back as often. But when I found one, I was like, bring her. She had it. Let's do it. But this idea that it's offensive to them, that is a lie. I mean, Dan, you know that's not true. That is such an offensive. This is the shit that you guys are just doing because you're like, oh, the monster. That is such a lie. That is such a lie that I did that. But so, off my soapbox. So anyway, that was a thank you for getting that. So I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was totally worth it.
Pisses me off.
I like that the chat picked up on Maggie's. I didn't lose because of my boobs. Good statement.
Maggie out here on her Confucius says sheet. Confucius say, I did not lose because of my boobs.
Tell Tony Current, tell me a story. I don't know what story you're talking about, but thank you for the support for the Tampa Bay Crisis Center. Richard Protfin, what happened between you and Dan in the Jurassic World movie fights that got so bad you edited it out? I still remember it being mentioned. Yeah, if you go to the podcast version of it, it was still there. I don't remember, but I think there was a part. Look, Dan got grumpy, and I was passionate. I was aggressive in those first early movie fights because I just didn't know better. Once I watched myself, I could get notes, but I still overtalk and do things I'm still always working on. I talk too fast, all that stuff. But I'm always trying to learn. But in that episode, I think we just both were at our like the worst versions of ourselves in the middle of that fight. That it got a little too intense. Then even we shook hands at the end. We both were like, we should probably cut that one little argument out, because I think then we were yelling at the producers or something. It just got a little too intense, but we shouldn't have, I guess. I don't honestly remember. But I think if it's still there, Movie Fights on iTunes, you can go watch and hear it, because we didn't edit the audio feed, so it's snuck under. I think we put it in the Movie Fights screen. But anyway, I honestly, that's one that slips my memory. I don't remember it being that big of a deal. But we said something, or We yelled at the producer. We both were heated.
But you know,
I like how Jody's
then
such like
you
flame
guys-
everyone.
Yeah, back
Jody's
then you
team.
guys were boys, so I mean, not for nothing, but me and my boys argue about, you know, which is better, Alien versus Aliens. It can get pretty heated too, and be like, "You are fucking insane, bro!"
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like it can get pretty heated, so I can imagine.
That's why it's nice being in a community like this, where you know that everybody's cool with each other and like we're all friends and we're all here because of like a common purpose, not just movies, but like for justice and for supporting one another and supporting people who need it. Like, so you can tell someone, no, you suck and you're wrong and you're a piece of shit, and they know, yeah, but we're cool. You don't have to. you can say that and you can go hard, but you don't have to. Like I said a while back, like y'all from Tampa, I'm a St. Louis girl. I was like, let's go Blues. Tampa Bay Lightning can suck my dick, and you were like, yeah, but we beat you though. We were doing a little back and forth. Like,
why you gotta bring up the Lightning, girl? Why you gotta bring up the Lightning?
Because they suck so hard, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so
okay.
Sorry guys, for any of you guys who aren't in the Midwest, hockey, it's important. But you know, just something like that where you can say to someone who's a good friend or someone who you know can take it, you can say like, well, you know, you're just wrong. So how does it feel to be wrong all day? Does it hurt? When you wake up, do you feel bad every day just to know the wrongness inside of you? Like, does it suck? You can say shit like that. They're like, you're fine. But so I can't imagine what it would be like in a situation where you're talking about the goddamn Jurassic Park movies.
Yes.
And you're getting to a point with a good friend where you're like, that moment. And I think we've all been here before where you're having a conversation and then you're going, okay, wait, how do we get actually upset at each other? Like, I can feel this. How did this go from we're having a disagreement to we have fundamental idealistic differences?
Well, that was the beauty of movie fights, that Jurassic World could get us that heated, because I didn't care that much, but that's where things made it so fun. But we just got purple rained. Jody, we got the purple rain in there. A $50 donations from James Slendor. I can't ignore this one. James wants me to pitch a rom-com for an internet guy who wears flannels and a fan. Okay. And then previously Tony's saying, tell the Dan Murrell story Jody tried to bring up earlier. All right. Well, look, we're running out of time, Tony. But what's interesting is this James.
Next time, baby.
Should we pitch this rom-com, Jody?
Yeah, that sounds.
How about
fun.
an internet guy who wears flannels?
That sounds
and
a lot
and
funner
fan?
than exposing these fools that betrayed you. But let's go.
Well, imagine. Let's pitch a story, Jody. Imagine if you're like working at an internet thing and people are like all into you and you're like, oh, wow. And there's like this one girl who's like, oh man, I really like that guy in the flannel. I really like that guy.
I really like that guy in the flannel.
He's so tall and handsome.
He's different and alternative. I really like that he talks about stuff that other guys don't talk about. He has a mug with Star Trek on it.
Yeah, no. Well, no. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm seeing this guy in flannels and he's like so tall and handsome and dreamy. Seems so sensitive and nice. And imagine if you're talking to his boss. Imagine if you're talking to his boss. Imagine if that's like, you're like, oh man, this boss is flirting with me, but I really want that one. And then there's like this dynamic there. You're like, well, damn. Hey, he's single. What if the boss is like, I'll hook you guys up? And then like does this whole like rigmarole to like, oh, this is like pandemonium to make it happen. And then they're like, oh my God, how funny. And then they live happily ever after. That sounds like a good story. Jody, what do you think?
It does. It sounds like a good story for the guy who got the girl in the end, passed to him. But from the one
Jody,
guy.
Wait, that's what you think. But it's actually like a modern day Fatal Attraction type scenario where you have the whole first half of the movie set up like nice and cutesy and guy meets girl and stuff like that. But then the next half is straight up Gone Girl. Okay,
that could be a possibility too. That's an interesting twist on it.
Revealed. You have a corporation torn apart. You have a conspiracy and like insider trading and shit. Like it goes deep. And then you have like a big climax where the man, it's like Harrison Ford in The Fugitive, right? Where he's coming and he's like, kill my wife, except he's like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It's Bill Clinton, but intense. And like, yeah, that's my movie.
That's a fire freaking movie.
We've been, we gotta get to Twitch at some point, because if I don't go on Twitch tonight before midnight, I lose my day. So at some point we're gonna do it. But anyway, this rom-com, I don't know, it could be based on a true story, Jody. I mean, do you think there's a lot of like bosses out there that are like caught flirting with fans and then maybe like hand off fans to like other people that they're into? Do you think that ever happens?
So let's say so you're saying a girl who works at this place who meets the boss.
Well, no, the girl's like a fan of them, right? Like has watched forever.
Right. Okay. So the girl is a fan of the show that's going on, and she gets like invited to the studio.
She's like, "Hey, what if I give you a tour of New Orleans?"
Oh, or some city.
To the boss, to the boss, right?
Right.
And you're like, "Oh, cool. I mean, are you down? What's up? Oh, cool."
Is this girl attractive?
Yeah, she's nice. She's smart.
Enough. Okay. Enough to get your cock wet. Okay.
She's nice. She's smart. Respect her. Yeah. So but she's respectful. She's nice. And you realize, and you like trying to see, are you into me? Are you not into me? You realize she's not. And then the guy's like, oh, you're into my coworker.
Definitely. The boss should definitely try to see if he could get the girl. But the girl didn't really.
Maggie, what do you think? Is that like crossing the line? What do you think?
Oh no, definitely.
Is that risky? Like if she's like a crazy fan?
That's called the Magic Johnson pass. See, that's when you take the ball and you pass it behind the back to the dude over there on the left. That's what that's called. It's called being a good wingman.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Those are allowed.
So the boss tries to get with the girl. The girl says, "No, not my snot." But that co-host of yours, I like him.
Yeah. Oh, I really like him. Like, oh, you're creepy. You're creepy. I don't like. But man, he's dreamy.
Right.
So you're like, oh well, you know what? I like my buddy, and he gets grumpy sometimes. So it would be really nice if he wasn't so grumpy. So let's hook it up.
So I'm a little disappointed.
This girl?
So the boss is like, hey, you know what? Sure, I'll hook that up. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
So the boss says, you know what? You're not feeling me. I'm not your child. Maybe I got too much man boobs or whatever, or I don't have some cute glasses.
He didn't lose because of his boobs.
That's true.
So what the boss decides to do is say, you know what? Since I'm friends with this guy, how about I hook you two up?
I just love how the audience has not figured it out. They're so stupid, Jody. They're so stupid. Dan was dating the fan that I hooked him up with. There, I dropped the T. It's a true story, guys. Look, that's the reality. So you got we'll end with a finale as we go to Twitch. That's the hypocrisy I'm frustrated with. Now, look, there's a lot to unpack there. I don't want to get into it, but the reality is, yes, I flirted with his girlfriend. Weirdly, she was fine with it. We clarified. She made it clear where her intentions were. She got what she wanted, guys.
And it's all about what happened after that, too, that really makes this shit really effed up. Stay tuned on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Look, I say that just because you guys paid a lot. Again, the reason we did this tonight, just so we're super clear, was for a good cause, which is really important. So as you're all sort of like, what? Really, the real reason is for Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. It's a really important place for us here in Tampa and all around the world. Anybody who's struggling or having trouble, look, this is all silly drama. This is all stupid stuff. It doesn't really matter. This matters. But I want to get it off of me. I want it off my chest. I want to move on. I want it to be done. And I want to move forward. And you got to understand, like, it's complicated, guys. It's complicated and it frustrates me, and I don't like hypocrisy. And so in order to finally get going, I want to make sure we help some others at the same time. I'm not monetizing the stream. We're going to I'm trying to give all the portions of this to the Crisis Center over in Tampa Bay, which does amazing work. If you guys are feeling alone, in an abusive relationship, suicidal, please dial 211. You can always get help, free, confidential help. Really important that you guys know that resource is available and help in this time, because, guys, suicides are going to go up. We're all stuck at home. People are stuck. Kids, wives, husbands are stuck in abusive relationships while we're on lockdown. I know I'm like trying to have a fun stream at the same time. Like it's scary out there. So do what you can. Find your own crisis center. Volunteer digitally if you can, or give some money if you can. Everything we get here is going to go to that. So thank you, James, for sending the purple rain at the end to end with a firework. But yeah, look, the reality is that, and that's the thing I sort of didn't. I can understand why this will seem petty of me, and I cross the line, sort of revealing that.
It ain't petty. It
But
ain't petty.
it's
I
frustrating.
was gonna say,
Go ahead, yeah, Maggie. Is this my business? Is that anybody's
You tried
business?
It the other way. You tried it all other ways, bro. This is you're back against the wall, my dude.
I don't know what to
I
do
think
because
that's
it's like
all we can
I don't want to judge or call. I'm not trying it, but it's like I'm so sick of the hypocrisy.
what happened to you was traumatic. Losing so much was traumatic, and the only way to get through trauma is to process it. You can't process it when you're still blaming yourself for the parts that weren't your fault. You've taken accountability for the things that were your fault, but you can't blame yourself for the things that aren't your fault. You can't control what other people think. You can't control what other people refuse to communicate about. You're telling your story, and that's just as important and just as valid. It's not less valid because you're a man. It's not less valid because somebody said something about you that wasn't true. You have a right to have your story be heard, and there could be people in this chat right now that you're setting the example for. People who have had horrible things said about them, people who have lost everything, lost their families, lost a job because of something that they did do or something that they didn't do. And they need to know that you, a person who they've looked up to and been a fan of, you have come back, and that you still have people who are standing by you. For anyone who feels alone right now, you have people who are standing by you, whether you know it or not. The Crisis Center of Tampa Bay has 24 hours a day, 365 days a year services to help with suicide prevention, sexual assault services, forensic examinations, trauma center for families who are in danger. And if you've ever felt like you cannot escape, whether it's that you've been accused of something and you felt like you can't escape the shadow of that, or you have been the victim of something and you can't escape the shadow of your abuser, there is someone who will listen to you. We will listen to you. We are nerds who are here to talk about movies, but you know what? We care just as much about if you're okay. We care if we as fans, we all cared if Andy was okay. That's why we're here right now. So we care that you, the people who came and supported, we care if you're okay. So thank you so much for donating.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being supportive.
And it's like I'm still not okay, guys. Clearly, I'm still not okay, and I've tried everything in my power to try to, like, with all the relationships that were built, literally the relationships that were built. I don't know. I feel like it could have been a phone call. I think there was a lot of stories that were shared, that were told, that I would have preferred to do this privately. I'll be honest, but at least we did it tonight for a good cause. And so thank you to all who donated to sort of come and get spill the tea with me, but get it for a good cause. But as Anthony, who's a big support. Thank you, Anthony. I love you, man. I see something great being created here, and I feel it. Like I feel a weight off my shoulders finally to sort of not have anything else left to hide. So I'll say this directly, Dan. We're done. I got it. We're done. You are a coward. You are a hypocrite. If you want to talk more about it privately, publicly, it's on you, man. Please leave him alone. Please leave him alone. We said the piece. It is what it is. I don't want to start a war. It's not my point. But I will say it publicly because it's only fair if I'm going to do all this. I'm sorry. You guys were hurt. I don't know if you know the full story about how she met you and all that stuff. I have the receipts. I'm happy to share them with you. I don't want to put them out publicly. But you guys, it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical, and you can't come at me. I know it seems like, well, there were so many. I promise you, the intent was never malicious. The intent was never to hurt anyone. I am ashamed of that behavior, especially because I was married. That's scumbag of me. And I'm sorry that fans felt uncomfortable. I feel awful about that. And I really genuinely do. But I am not Harvey Weinstein. I am not a monster. I'm not a sexual predator. That was not my intention. And I'm definitely sure as hell not doing any of that behavior now. It's time to move on. It's time to move forward. I'm so grateful for everybody who stuck around and these people on this stream and so many others, Ian and Don and so many other, and my amazing family and Jami and my kids. It's like the list, mom and dad, the list goes on and on.
Hi, Andy's mom.
But
you're really cool.
That interview was great. But thank you guys for letting me release some of this, get it off on my chest for a good cause tonight. I'm sorry if this is going to offend some people, but guys, there's more to the story. And I'm sick of you guys dictating when the story's over, because it's not. You had every opportunity to privately reach out, but you guys have. We got to fight back against this thing that got tore down. I'm sorry it messed up, but you're clearly still hurt too, and we should have done this another way. I'm done. It's over. I get it. We're moving on. let's move on now. Thank you. I got it. That was the last thing I sort of was getting it out there because, guys, it's hypocritical to me. It's hypocritical to me to be called out by a friend who would never reach out when that happened. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any damn sense to me. Final words as we go over to Twitch, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but quickly, Jody, I want to thank you for coming on. Go check out Jody's Corner over on YouTube. Go support Jody because he's a fantastic fire all the time. Jody, any final words or things you want to say?
I just want to make sure that we get this straight in closing. Dan let you out to dry and condoned you for inappropriate stuff with a subscriber, which were turned out later to be lies, while he himself is dating and with a subscriber.
He's in love and has a normal, apparently healthy relationship with the fan who looked up to him, who I set him up with. Yes,
goddamn, that ain't irony.
Yes, that is true. So there you go. But Jody, thank you so much. Maggie,
you're welcome, bro.
Any final thoughts? We'll go over Twitch for a minute, but any final thoughts?
I am very moved by all the people in the comments just leaving simply "I care." If you feel alone right now, look at all the people who are just saying the simple words, "I care." There's someone who cares. Reach out if you need to.
Amen. 211, dial 211. Thank you. And then Damien, thank you for being there for since I've been here, and I hope we continue to be. I hope you know I'm there for you as well. Any final words here, man?
Guys, just in general, we actually talked about doing streams like this more often. And if you want to find out more, not only could you support here, but go also support Andy on Hugging the Cactus, which is where he tries to get people who have gone through some sort of trauma and get them out and get their story out. It's about communication. During this time, it's about communication. And the fact that we have you guys here as a community, and obviously these two awesome guests who are all, here sharing their thoughts. This is what we love to do. This is what we all enjoy. And just keep coming out, man. Keep supporting. We'll entertain you. We'll be funnier next time or whatever. But at least this time we got real. So
we got real, and
that's what we got.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And look, again, please don't start wars out there with these guys. They want to move on. Okay. Clearly, I'm not going to get the closure I hoped I got, but I at least can let it all out, so I don't have to keep holding on.
The real war is won. The real war, the war of dignity, the war of fighting for the people who really need it. That's one. We raised money tonight for a great cause.
Yes, we did. We did. I
we
can't
don't
even
need to
keep track of it all, but yeah, we did really well tonight. So thank you guys. You guys can still go donate. Go to crisiscenter.com, 211 on your phone if you're ever feeling the need for help in any situation. No, you're not alone. Like Maggie said, we are here for you. Come watch a stream with us. If you're feeling down, we will talk to you. It's important that we be there for each other in this time of crisis right now that we're all in. Who knows how long this is going to last, but there's a lot of people stuck with people that maybe need to know this. So spread it on Twitter, spread it on social. Go donate when you can. Thank you guys so much for helping support our local Tampa Bay Crisis Center, and make sure you spread the word. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month in April, so spread the word. Make sure people are heard out there and getting rape kits and support and counseling when they need it. The real survivors are really what this is about. We got to respect that and make sure that they have the resources that they need. So thank you, Crisis Center Tampa Bay, rain.org nationwide as well, and that hotline. So many resources you can see. So now, guys, but we're not done. We're not done. Guys, if you're not on Twitch, come on over to Twitch because we're going to be doing a lot more stuff like this, free-form, real conversations. Tea might still get spilled over there occasionally if it's brought up. But twitch.tv/popcornplanet. I saw somebody plug it. There it is. Thank you, Bunda. Twitch.tv/popcornplanet. I got to get over there before midnight so I can get my day in and get my hours clocked because this weekend will finally, hopefully, be affiliated and we'll start doing more stuff, live streams like this over on Twitch. If you're not a member, you can go join very easily. But go over there. We'll be there in about 5 minutes or so. Continue this conversation, talking about that bomb I just dropped, potentially a little bit more, some other stuff. So come on over real quick for a hangout with us. I may try and actually get some of you on the call. We can talk to you for a little bit. So if you want to talk like what, you can come on there. We'll have some conversations. So come on over, twitch.tv/popcornplanet. And don't forget to donate all those, again, crisiscenter.com. Thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. I hope, I know there's going to be people mad at me. It is what it is. I do feel sorry. I wish we could have done this another way. I needed this out of me. I'm glad it's out in the world. It's done for me, I hope. And there it is. So there you guys sort of know some more. You can put the pieces together. And thanks so much for watching. Jody, Maggie, Damien, let's go on over to Twitch. Woo! Thanks, everybody. All righty.